Kwalebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@ghanaweb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #LegalizeOrganDonationNow. Organ failure should not be a death sentence.
Mienu, uni girl and now uni why? Uni girl. We are nkwa. No worry. Me pe girl ama. Why? Na umpe. Usika sem nie. Usika sem ye. Ana uni umami na eda.
She currently is the woman of the moment because when we say trends, she's really trending. You know whom I'm talking about? Kokomu PhD. Yes, she takes her turn on everyday people on GhanaWeb TV, and we decide, or we talk to her and ask her the reason why she decided to go for that term and the reason behind or her motivation for selling porridge. My name is Victoria Cheba. Let's have a conversation. This is Everyday People on GhanaWeb TV. Let's go and talk to her. PhD.
Yeah, that's me.
So please, can we know your name?
Yeah, my name is Wasila Abdallah. Wasila Abdallah, but Waspi for short. Waspi for short. Yeah.
When I come to the area and I mention Waspi.
As Waspi, those who know me as Waspi, they know. Okay. Waspi for real. Okay. You know, I'm for real. Okay. Yeah, I'm me. I'm always me.
What makes you real?
Yeah, you know why I'm real? Right now, if anything just happen, I'll tell you my mind. Okay. And be free. I don't look otherwise, you know? You got what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay, so
That's,
you are really trending on social
I'm
media.
very trending.
Yes, and
yeah.
the name I saw was Kokomu PhD.
PhD, that's me.
Tell us about that. How
yeah,
did it happen?
That's why I told you, the guy who came and do the picture gave me that name. And I sat down and checked. Yeah, the name fits me. Because this Coco, he's my very customer, loyal customer. One of my loyal customer. That's the guy. Okay. So I do appreciate him. Yeah, he's your greeting, baby. Yeah.
Do you know his name?
Yeah. Celebrity stylist.
Oh, okay.
So I give him the respect because he made it today. He made it possible for me today. You got what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So now let me know about you. How did you start?
This business is for my mom. She was doing it with her sisters. So at a point in time, they all got married. She has no one. So I had to come and assist here.
Okay, at what age?
At the age of 20, I started selling this cocoa at the age of 14, 15.
Wow, were you not
Yes,
in school?
I was in school.
Okay.
But when I close, I come here.
JSS.
JSS and SHS cry, I do come here. So it's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, from 15 years, I started selling the
So
cocoa.
was it because there was no one there to sell the cocoa? That's why you decided to take over. It was something that you had an interest in.
No. I was doing my own business before I came here.
Which
So
business?
I was selling clothes. You know, we the Muslims, we do sell clothes, and I was traveling in Nigeria and in Togo. But I said, no, I'm stressing myself. Why shouldn't I sit here and do everything good to put some? So I brought this brown sugar, this cup, the milk, the bread for the business to grow well.
Okay.
So I brought that idea here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your mother and her siblings, were they not doing
No. They don't know anything.
How was they?
They were doing only cocoa, sugar, granules, and the kose.
Okay, the pink cans.
The pink cars,
Okay.
yeah.
And
There
the
was no
shawarma.
packaging and everything.
Okay.
So I came and do that.
Okay.
The mind is broadened, man.
So what did you see before you decided to?
No, I sat down and think about business because I have 2 kids and sisters to check on. Because I'm business minded, that's me. When I sit down, I have to focus and do everything to gather. You understand? Yo, I'm coming, babies. I'm coming. Yo.
So who gave you this location? How did you find this place?
My mother was born in this house.
Okay.
This house, Officer Lee's house.
Okay.
Yes. My mother was born here. So my grandmother started the cocoa. Then times we have branches, but now we don't.
Why?
But I'm the one who's going to bring that branches now.
Right, okay.
Yes, I'm bringing the branches very soon.
So would you like to employ me when you bring the branches?
Of course I will. Because you bring more ideas to the business.
Yeah.
Yes. I do want people who will bring ideas to the business. Yeah.
So at what point did you get these things, the pinkers and
The pinkers. Oh, the pinkers and the shawarma was there like 5 years ago. Like 5 years ago. So he knows.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's been your customer for
He's been my customer for so many years,
Wow.
that guy. I really appreciate him. You'll meet him one day. Yeah.
So you said that shawarma terms, it came like
5 years. So I've been telling some of my customers. So the day he came, he said I should use my terms. Yes. So he himself, he was surprised how the video trend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice one. So how's the day-to-day business like?
Oh, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah always.
Well, that one means?
That one means I give thanks to Jah. All praise to him. Yeah, he made it possible. Without him, I'm no one. You understand? Yeah. So you see this?
So growing up, what exactly did you want to become? Like,
In terms of my
like,
business.
a nurse, doctor?
No. Me, I'd wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Then times when I was in school. But it got to a time, I got pregnant when I was in SS3.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I hold up this business. I gave my education to my sister and my kids. This is my sister. Okay. Yeah.
But why did you choose further when you...
No. The mind is here. The mind is here.
But you still could have pursued your
No. I can't do that.
You can't do that?
No.
Why?
When I'm in there, I'll be thinking about the coins. Baby.
But you know people are still, having or studying some courses and still selling at the same time.
Oh, that one there is true.
Yes.
It's true.
So you could have done that?
No, my mind is not there. I took the mind off there long time.
Okay.
I took the mind off there long time. The mind is on this. So I do powder. When you want powder, I do powder for exports.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The cocoa powder?
I do cocoa powder for exports and I do the dough too.
Okay.
When it comes to cocoa, I can do anything.
Okay.
Anything. Cocoa, anything I do. So when next you are coming, 3 cities. When next you are coming, I'll give you a sample of the powder. Because I have no powder at home because of the raining season.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you started at the age of 14?
14, 15, yeah.
Okay. So for how long have you been doing
Oh, I'm almost 40 years now. This year, December, I'll be 40. Yeah. And so it's almost 25 years ago. Yeah. 25 years ago.
So what specifically can you boast of that? Because I started selling this, I've been able to do this and that.
Oh, I've been able to take care of my sister through university and my daughter and my son. And I've been taking care of one of my family. You know, I'm mother of all. I have many kids that I take care of. And I do go to orphanage too. Every December. In a year, I go 2 times. Even the last visit was prisons. Yes. The last visit was prisons. So what I'm gaining here, I'm not taking it alone. I take with many people. Yeah.
The relationship with your customers?
Yes. Some customers are stubborn.
Stubborn in terms of?
Stubborn in terms of everything. Sister, they are very stubborn. Could you believe that 4 days ago, a lady came and bought kose. She sent someone to buy kose. She brought the kose back. Imagine, food.
Why?
Yes. You see, they are very stubborn. She said the lady she sent ate some of the kose. And it's not true. You understand?
Okay.
So the customers, they are very stubborn, very, very. So they will let people look you as you are bad.
Okay.
You say, me, I'm me. I told you, anytime I'm me, I will not be you. I'm me. Waspi for real. That's why I'm for real. Yeah, man.
Real.
3 cities. The customers, some of them are lovely. Some of them are stubborn. Yes. And you know what? Some people do look down on us. Okay. Even this morning, a certain lady, when it comes to everything, I'm more than her. But because I'm selling cocoa, she looks down on me. That's what most of them do. You understand?
So what would you want to tell those people who have been doing that?
No, I even today, the lady, I told her direct.
So tell those people too outside.
Oh,
tell
they shouldn't look down on me. Because this is what I do, to take care of whoever I do take care of. And I have old men that I take care, and those who don't have husbands, actually a lot. I do a lot, but they just don't want to voice out. Because I'm doing it for me and God, not for public. Yes, so those who know me, they know me.
When you put it inside the rubber like this?
Like this is 3 cedis, yes. My cocoa is very affordable. Okay. It's nice, nutritious, and affordable. Yeah.
So, okay, maybe that's what you want to tell. I wanted to ask what and what you've been mixing, putting together.
That's the secret of me, baby. That's the secret. Yeah. This secreting secrets.
They don't have to know.
No. They cannot know. It's inherited.
Sorry, you can't know.
I'm so sorry, baby. So sorry, baby. I have customers all over. Okainshi, CMB. Yeah. That's why I want to have the branches. So I'm working on it. Yeah, very soon. Yeah, very soon. Give it to me. That's inshallah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I give thanks, man. You can follow me on Kokomu PhD, on Snap, on TikTok, everywhere, every angles, that's the name. Kokomu PhD.
Kokomu PhD, like, it's a nice thing for me, and I take it as a breakfast every morning. That's why I do come here all the time to come in.
Okay. So her personality, is it also a reason why you always come to Kokomu PhD?
Yeah, her personality is one of something I like so much, because the way she dresses, the way she handles the customers, and she made you to know that she's a boss on her own. Okay. You can't come and impose certain things of yours on her. No, that's the way I like it.
So
Then let me give you 1 pink card.
Okay.
And then 1 kose.
Okay.
But the kose, we have different types.
Okay.
So I'm giving it the 3.
Okay. So
this is the agaus.
The agaus.
The agaus.
Agaus.
The pink card.
The pink card.
And the kose.
And the kose. The agaus, the pink card, and the kose. Yeah, I didn't come here to play at all.
No.
I cannot lie. I really cannot lie. She's really a vibe. Like I said, if you want to find cocoa anywhere inside the Accra Central Market, specifically the SIC Mall, at Makola, that is where she's located. This is how we bring to an end today's episode of Everyday People on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Victoria Chibafo. See you on the next episode.
Kwalebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@ghanaweb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #LegalizeOrganDonationNow. Organ failure should not be a death sentence. It's the campaign trail here on GhanaWeb TV, and today we're taking you on a journey to the Ketu South constituency, a region critical to this particular election. We'll be speaking with some of the constituents. We want to find out from them, are they satisfied with the work of their MP, and who will be their preferred
Neonatal jaundice is the commonest cause of pediatric admissions or neonatal admissions.
Kwalebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@GhanaWeb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #LegalizeOrganDonationNow. Organ failure should not be a death sentence.
Neonatal jaundice is the commonest cause of pediatric admissions or neonatal admissions. Jaundice is not exclusively found in babies, neonates. Jaundice is found in all ages.
Neonatal jaundice is a very common disease among newborn babies. It is characterized by yellowing of the skin and then the eyes. Today on the Health Focus Show, we'll be talking about neonatal jaundice. We'll be knowing exactly what it is. I'm Elliot Aitenwete. I'll be your host for today's show, and to help me with discussion, I have with me Dr. Edward Akosa Danso. He is a medical practitioner with the Ghana Police Hospital. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Before we talk about what neonatal jaundice is, let's look at what jaundice is in general.
Okay. Jaundice is a medical term. That's a very simple definition. Yellowing of the eyes and the skin, especially in newborns. So basically that's what jaundice is. Yellowing of the eyes and the skin. And when we talk about, let me add on to that. The neonatal period from birth to 1 month. So when you combine both words, yellowing of the eyes and skin in a baby who is between 0 and 1 month old.
We'll come back to neonatal jaundice, but is it only a disease that happens to children? Because it happens to be that neonatal jaundice is popular when we are talking about jaundice.
Okay. So jaundice is not exclusively found in babies, neonates. Jaundice is found in all ages, in all age groups, in men, in women, in babies, in adults, in children, in the geriatric population. And in adults, usually, jaundice is a sign that points to something deeper.
Okay.
So in adults, jaundice is reflecting another disease.
Okay.
So, in adults, we say neonatal jaundice. Well, in adults, we always say jaundice is secondary to something. So, jaundice secondary to liver failure or a liver disease. Jaundice secondary to, let's say, sickle cell hemolytic crisis. Jaundice secondary to maybe an obstructive pathology in the liver. So, jaundice, in essence, is a sign of another disease.
Great. That's very insightful. Now, what's so peculiar about the neonatal jaundice?
Okay. Neonatal jaundice is the commonest cause of pediatric admissions or neonatal admissions.
Okay.
So, is the condition that takes babies, that's babies between birth and 1 month, to the hospital. 6 out of 10 babies who are born at 10, that's 37 weeks and more, will have jaundice. And 8 out of 10 babies who are born prematurely will have jaundice. And what makes it more important is that it can cause, someone will ask, why are we talking about jaundice? Why are we talking about jaundice? It can cause brain damage. It can cause death. But that's not the most important thing about jaundice. That complication is totally preventable. That's what makes it more important. That's why we dedicate a month to it. Because it's something that can cause brain damage, can cause death. It's the most common presentation in neonates. And its complication is totally preventable. That's why we keep on making noise about it. It's common, it's dangerous, it's preventable. That's why we talk about it.
Are there types of neonatal jaundice? I'm asking this question because you made mention that 8 out of 10 babies who are born prematurely have a higher chance of having the condition of neonatal jaundice, and then 6 out of 10 babies who are born within normal times have the condition. So are there any differences or kinds of neonatal jaundice?
Okay, so to answer your question, I'd have to go into what causes jaundice,
okay,
in order to tell us how we can classify it. So in you and I, we have red blood cells that are usually broken down. They are broken down to form bilirubin and some other products that we wouldn't talk about. The bilirubin, it's usually carried to the liver and it's excreted through the stool. Simple terms.
Okay.
So when our liver, so the liver processes the bilirubin for excretion, and it's the bilirubin that causes the jaundice. So high bilirubin level will give you jaundice. I hope you understand that.
Yes.
And the liver processes the bilirubin for it to be excreted out of the body. So if there's a problem with the liver, the bilirubin will build up. I hope you are following.
Yeah.
So in neonates, that's children or babies, their conversion ability or the activity of their liver enzymes are not as mature as adults. So they can't convert the bilirubin to an excretable form. That's one cause. That's the first cause.
Okay.
So because babies or neonates are inherently unable to convert the bilirubin to an easily excretable form, it easily builds up. So that's what causes neonatal jaundice.
Okay.
Then we can classify that as physiological because there's essentially nothing wrong with the baby. It's just because the system is now developing. So we call that
at the moment.
So the baby is fine.
Okay.
So we call that physiological jaundice. But then when there are other causes, let's say blood group incompatibility, the mother is rhesus negative, the child is positive, more or less the antibodies are fighting each other, causing the red blood cells to break down faster than they are supposed to. So already the baby can't excrete. Now you are adding more. So we call that pathological jaundice.
Okay.
I hope you get the two.
Yes. So let me try and see if I can simplify what you said. So with the first type, which is the physiological, it is as no fault of the child.
Exactly.
At the moment, their system cannot make good use of the bilirubin
to excrete it out.
Exactly. And then with the pathological is as a result of a fault, maybe from the child or from
blood group incompatibilities, other enzyme deficiencies.
Yes.
And the reason why the classification is purely academic, when you come to clinical setting, we really don't say this is physiological jaundice, this is pathological jaundice. We just say neonatal jaundice.
Okay.
It's because the treatment is essentially the same, and we usually can't. It's usually prudent to treat them, to give them the same level of attention, because regardless of whether it's a physiological process or a pathological process, if the bilirubin is high, it can poison the brain and kill the child or cause brain damage. So this classification of physiological, pathological is purely academic. It's for exams. But when you're in the clinical practice, you'd actually, if your baby has jaundice, you actually try to find out whether there's a blood group incompatibility, there's an enzyme deficiency or whatnot. But essentially, you manage your child whether it's physiological or pathological. So the classification is there, but it's just for exams and purely academic. Clinically, we treat them the same. and we manage them as aggressive as whether it's physiological or pathological.
Earlier, you mentioned that neonatal jaundice happens within the first 1 month of a child. At what point after childbirth do you diagnose it, and what are the indications you look out for in a child to be able to detect that this particular child may be suffering from neonatal jaundice?
Okay, so from birth to 1 month,
okay,
you can diagnose it within any window. At birth, once the child is delivered, whether via an operation or not, you examine the child, you realize that there's yellowing discoloration of the eyes or the skin, you have your neonatal jaundice. You do some labs to confirm it. You can, the child might be fine at birth, the child will be discharged, will go home and come back. You go home, the mother would realize that the eyes or the skin is yellow, come back, you diagnose jaundice. So it doesn't really matter whether it's day 1, day 0, day 30, up to day 30, it's still neonatal jaundice.
Great. Let's look at the causes. Now you've explained by means of the types what causes it, but do we have other risk factors that can result in neonatal jaundice?
Okay. The first one, like I explained, is the physiological in quotes, when the baby is not able to break down the bilirubin like the baby is supposed to. Then we have another common cause is blood group incompatibilities.
Okay.
So, not to go too much into immunology, we all have blood groups. I don't know if you know your blood group, but I'm B positive.
Okay.
So we have the ABO blood groups and we have the resource blood groups. Usually, the resource groups, so mothers who are negative, and if a mother is negative and the father is positive, and the child that's in the mother's womb is positive, sometimes some of the blood can cross, mother and fetal blood can cross.
Oh, okay, so if we say blood group compatibility, incompatibility, it is just the mother and then the child, not say mother and father.
Just the mother and child. Just the mother and child. Okay. So the mother's blood group and the baby's blood group. The resource factor. If the mother is negative, the baby is positive, there's a high risk of having neonatal jaundice.
Okay.
If the mother's blood group is O positive and the baby has any other blood group, there's an increased risk, albeit lower risk than resource incompatibility.
Okay.
That's a cause of jaundice. Then we have some enzymes, an enzyme called glucose-6-phosphate dehydrogenase. It's an enzyme that usually breaks down oxidant species. So oxidant species are let's say metabolic products that can affect red blood cells, can affect any cell in the body. So they break down the red blood cells, like I said, to produce the bilirubin. So if you have this enzyme deficiency, this enzyme is supposed to mop up the reactive oxygen species. If that enzyme is deficient, then the ROS, the reactive oxygen species, tend to break down red blood cells faster than they are supposed to, tend to increase the levels of bilirubin and cause jaundice.
Okay.
Then there are other rare causes, like some inborn errors of metabolism, like galactosemia. They are quite rare. They can also cause jaundice. Then there's also breast milk and breastfeeding jaundice. There are two opposite causes, two opposite etiologies. When we talk about breastfeeding jaundice, so I think I mentioned earlier that the bilirubin is supposed to be broken down or converted by the liver, then excreted out. In children who are not being breastfed well, or the feeds are limited, the bilirubin is supposed to go through the gut and come out through the stool. But if you are not breastfeeding well, there's no food in the gut to come out. There's no food in the gut to come out. So you realize that the bilirubin is staying in the gut and being reabsorbed into the blood. So that causes the breastfeeding jaundice. And in some women, there's an enzyme in the milk that can convert the already converted bilirubin back into something that can be reabsorbed into the blood to cause the jaundice. Yeah, so these are some of the common causes of neonatal jaundice.
Well, that was very insightful. Let's go for a quick break. And then when we return from the break, we'll talk about the neonatal jaundice gotten from breastfeeding, because it happens that traditionally some mothers use breast milk to treat jaundice in their children. And you are telling me that breastfeeding can cause neonatal jaundice. So after this quick break, we would look at it. Now let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at how breastfeeding can cause neonatal jaundice in children. Yeah, welcome back to Health Focus on GhanaWeb TV. I'm Elliot Aitenwete, and I have with me here Dr. Edward Akosadan. So he's a medical practitioner with the Ghana Police Hospital. Doc, before we went for the break, we were talking about how breastfeeding can lead to neonatal jaundice in children. Can you touch on that? Not briefly, because strangely, some mothers tend to use breast milk to treat neonatal jaundice in their kids.
Okay. So it's quite a paradox, if you ask me, that giving breast milk can cause jaundice and not giving breast milk can also cause jaundice. The most common one is the not giving breast milk. So like I explained earlier, not giving breast milk can cause the bilirubin to stay in the gut, will be reabsorbed into the blood and cause jaundice. Then if you give more breast milk, it causes the bilirubin and everything to be excreted faster, and the jaundice will go away. Then we have the other side where giving breast milk can cause jaundice, and that's what we call breast milk jaundice. And I should mention that breast milk jaundice is a diagnosis of exclusion. When we say something is a diagnosis of exclusion, it means once you've exhausted all other causes of the jaundice and you've examined all the systems of the child, of the baby, and everything is fine, and the child still has jaundice, and once you stop the breast milk, you realize that jaundice is clearing up, then you can confidently say that we have breast milk jaundice. So what causes breast milk jaundice is the fact that some women have an enzyme in the milk that reconverts the bilirubin back to its form that can be reabsorbed from the gut into the blood, and lead to the yellowing, discoloration of the sclera and the eyes. It's not very common, I should say, but then it's there. And what we should keep in mind is that once you have neonatal jaundice, you've tested everything, the woman is breastfeeding adequately, so you know there's no breastfeeding jaundice. You've tested the liver, you've tested everything, but still the baby is jaundice, you know there's breast milk jaundice. And if you test the baby's bilirubin level, you examine all the system, the liver, everything is fine, the baby is active and playing well, you can tell the mother to continue breastfeeding. It's a self-limiting condition, usually resolves after 12 weeks and requires adequate monitoring. So once the bilirubin level is not too high, not in the phototherapy level, the child is out of the first 2-week period, you can let the woman continue breastfeeding whilst monitoring the serum bilirubin level. And after 12 weeks, usually it will self-resolve. But then, if the breast milk jaundice, you check the bilirubin level, the bilirubin level is extremely high, the child requires phototherapy. When you stop the breastfeeding, the bilirubin level goes down. But when you start again, it goes very high again, the child requires phototherapy again. Then you'd be thinking that, okay, this is someone we can't do breastfeeding. We'd have to find other alternatives. Especially if it's between that period where it can cause the brain damage. So that's it for the breastfeeding. It's quite a paradox if you ask me. But then, like I said, it's a diagnosis of exclusion. You have to rule out all the other causes. You know, infections too can cause jaundice. Rule out all the other causes of the neonatal jaundice. Then you can confidently say that this is breast milk jaundice, and we can either continue the breastfeeding and monitor, but if it's getting to levels where it might affect the child's brain, then you have to hold it.
Since we've touch on some traditional ways parents use in treating neonatal jaundice. Can we look at how safe it is? Now, there are some people, prior to this interview, I did some readings, and then some people say that they use pawpaw leaves to bathe their child when they detect that their skin is yellowish to cure neonatal jaundice. Some also say after bathing their child with a pawpaw leaf, they give them some to drink. And I understand that at that period, at the first 1 month after birth, children are supposed to take, if anything at all, just the breast milk. How dangerous is it?
So let me also add some. Some also pour the breast milk into the child's eye.
Yes.
I've heard of that. So they have no evidence in literature that they are effective, and they might actually be deleterious, because pawpaw leaves, the child's guts, that's the intestines, they are not used to something as harsh as that.
Okay.
So it might affect them negatively than help them. Its effectiveness is not documented. There's sunbathing, where women were advised to take their children out into the morning sun. The jaundice might clear. If you are lucky and it's physiological jaundice, the levels aren't high, the jaundice was going to clear on its own. When you taking that child into the sun might work. But then here's the case. I read something recently that, let's say you see a woman who has a long dress, a very, very long dress, and the woman is wearing a high heel, and the woman is very tall. Would you say that the woman is naturally tall, the high heel that's making the woman tall, especially with the long dress covering the legs? What would you say?
It will be very difficult.
It will be very difficult. So if you see a child with jaundice, it will be very difficult to say that this is physiological, this is pathological. Physiological, oh, it will go. Let's just monitor, let's just continue the breastfeeding. This is pathological, we need to treat. Very, very difficult. You have to take the child to the hospital. So all these practices, now that we have evidence-based therapy, I'm sure you'd ask me about how we manage it. We'll get there. Now that we have evidence-based therapy to manage neonatal jaundice, I believe that it's in our interest and the interest of our mothers to bring the babies to the hospital for us to manage, because we honestly can't tell the difference.
I would want to draw you back to the traditional method, because most often if you look at the family setting, then people who advocate for this traditional means, it is the grandparents, those who are more in touch with their roots and then their herbal life. I don't know if that is the best way to put it, because they claim that it has been working over time, and even at a time where we didn't have medical knowledge and the medical technology, that was what they were relying on, and that was what was helping. Don't you think that it's about time maybe the scientific world look at some of these traditional means to see if indeed they are potent, or like you are saying, it's just a coincidence? Most of these children who were taken through this process just had the physiological jaundice and then they are cured.
Well, the jury is out, but I believe that something that's I know definitely is deleterious to the baby's guts, like the pawpaw leaves, drinking it. That I wouldn't say we should look into. Yes, I think that's a no-no. But other things, the sunbathing, if it's physiological work, honestly. If it's pathologic, and you can't tell the difference. So I'm sure during those times, they had more physiological causes. And the reason being that I know someone who was rhesus negative. That's the blood group.
Okay.
Rhesus negative had recurrent miscarriages because the blood mixed up in utero. So once she gets pregnant, she loses the baby. So she never had a child. That's an older person. I know someone who's rhesus negative who has 4 children. So in those times, possibly the person with rhesus negative never had a child to have pathological jaundice. By recent times, with something called ROGAM, where mothers who are rhesus negative can have children with a reduced risk of neonatal jaundice, might have children who have pathological jaundice who need to be treated. So in those times, they weren't, I'm tempted to say they weren't having a lot of pathological jaundice. That's why those things were, the sunbathing was working. But now we know that pathological jaundice is there. There's a thin line between that and physiological jaundice. And if you can, why not bring the child to the hospital?
Before we look at the scientific and then the medical treatment, I would want to know that, is it possible to detect if a child is predisposed to neonatal jaundice from the, is it antenatal period?
Oh,
antenatal
definitely.
check?
It's very, very possible. Not even the neonatal period. A woman who has the firstborn having neonatal jaundice is likely to have a secondborn having neonatal jaundice, because the risk factors that cause the firstborn to have the neonatal jaundice is probably present in the secondborn. So that's why we take a history, we do some labs and find out. If you look in the neonatal book, there's a part, there's blood group, ABO blood group, there's resource factor, there's G6PD status. So they test the woman for all those things. So if I'm seeing a woman who is in labor or who is due maybe next week, and I know the woman is resource negative, I have it at the back of my mind that this baby is at risk of having neonatal jaundice. I have to look out for it. If the baby doesn't have neonatal jaundice at birth, I would counsel the mother to look out for it and come to the hospital as soon as possible. If a woman, because G6PD is X-linked recessive, if a woman has neonatal jaundice, if a woman has G6PD deficiency and has a male child, my interest is piqued in that child, because that child is at risk of having neonatal jaundice.
So is it okay to say that neonatal jaundice can be hereditary?
No. When we say hereditary, then we have a genetic basis.
Okay.
I can say sickle cell to some extent is hereditary.
Yes.
Because you inherit defective genes. I can say to some extent albinism is hereditary, because you inherit some specific genes. I can say to some extent that baldness or male pattern baldness is hereditary, because you inherit some specific genes. But then with neonatal jaundice, we will classify it as risk factors. So the woman or the baby has a higher risk, not an inherited risk.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, I get it. Now let's go to the treatment. How is it treated? And how do you detect? I don't want to believe that any child who is having what is close to a yellowish skin would outrightly be classified as a child suffering neonatal jaundice. So how do you detect it, and then how do you treat it?
Okay. So when you come to the hospital and you're a mother, you're a father, you realize that your baby's eye or skin has a yellowish discoloration, we'll do some labs. Okay. We'll take the blood, take it to the lab to check for the serum bilirubin level. We have a reference range. Once it's higher than that reference range, then we can confidently say that this is neonatal jaundice. So then we have a diagnosis. Okay. Once we have our diagnosis, we decide whether to treat or not. Then we have something called a phototherapy chart. So every day, let's say on day 1, your bilirubin level is supposed to be this value. On day 2, it's supposed to be this value. On day 3, it's supposed to be this value. Then we plot it along that axis. We have a line, and if your value is above that line, then you need to have phototherapy for that day. So a child that's, let's say, 7 days might have a high value. Or let's say a child that's 1 day and a child that's 7 days might have the same value. But the one who's 1 day old will need phototherapy. And the one who's 7 days old will not need phototherapy. Then we have another graph that shows that we plot higher levels or high bilirubin levels. And with that, we move from phototherapy to something called exchange transfusion. It's a modality of managing severe neonatal jaundice. I think we'll get to that. But the mainstay is phototherapy.
Okay.
Mainstay is phototherapy. In severe jaundice with higher values, then exchange transfusion comes in.
What is that? What is exchange transfusion?
So let me talk about phototherapy first, because that's what most people would have. So with phototherapy, I don't know if you recall that bilirubin is toxic to the brain. Bilirubin is in the blood. We need to get bilirubin out of the blood, excreted either through our urine or through our stool. The light will convert bilirubin to a form, another form that is non-toxic, that can be easily excreted. Basically, that's what phototherapy does. Converts the bilirubin to a form, is non-toxic, and can easily be excreted. There are three main ways it does that. There's photoisomerization, there's structural isomerization. I wouldn't really go into that. But then, basically, it will convert bilirubin to a form that can be excreted, can get out of the body, so it doesn't poison the brain. When we have very high levels that we need to act very fast, there's something we call exchange transfusion. The bilirubin is in the blood, right?
Yeah.
We want the bilirubin to get out of the blood. But using the photo comparing it to the value we have will be quite slow. So in very simple terms, we remove all the baby's blood and put another blood inside.
Wow.
I don't know if you understand that.
Yes.
So that's exchange transfusion. So we get all the bilirubin out, bring new blood that has normal bilirubin levels, so there's nothing to poison the baby's brain.
And then do the transfusion.
So that's what we do for very severe jaundice. But then most people would have the phototherapy. The phototherapy works. It works magic.
So like you mentioned, neonatal jaundice can be diagnosed within the first 1 month.
First day.
Yes, even the first day.
Yeah.
But then there's a chance that at birth some children may not show signs.
Yes, possible.
And they will show signs later on when they are at home.
Yes.
Why is it necessary that immediately they witness it, or a parent sees a red flag, they immediately bring it to the hospital? Because there are some parents who would say, oh, traditionally for me, the moment I bring my child from home to the house, it must to the house. It must take 7 days before the child will come out. What do you have for those parents?
Okay, so the main reason it's important is because neonatal jaundice can cause an easily preventable sequelae called kernicterus. Kernicterus is bilirubin encephalopathy. In simple terms, causes brain damage. So why we are scared of neonatal jaundice is because it causes brain damage. It can cause death. And why we think it's very important to bring the child as soon as possible is because that complication can easily be prevented. So we don't want the complication to happen. What can we do for the complication not to happen? We can do phototherapy. And that complication will not happen.
Okay.
So that's why it's very important. And the brain damage might not be apparent in the neonatal period, might not even be apparent in the first 3 or 6 months. It's when the child is supposed to sit. You realize, oh, this child is not sitting when the child is supposed to sit. The child is supposed to crawl. The child is not laughing. The child is not smiling. So it won't be apparent to you in the first month, first 2 months, first 3 months. But when the child is supposed to achieve some milestones, then you know that, okay, this child is not developing. Then we'll trace it back and realize that, oh my God, the child has bilirubin encephalopathy, something that could have been prevented with jet blue light. Wow. So that's why it's important, basically.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc, for your time with us today. So it was all about neonatal jaundice with Dr. Edward Akosa Danso. He's a medical practitioner at the Ghana Police Hospital. My name is Elliot Aitenwete. Let's meet same time next week.
Kolebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes. But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@ghanaweb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #LegalizeOrganDonationNow. Organ failure should not be a death sentence.
On Tuesday, September 17, 2024, students of the Christian Methodist School in Accra attacked one of their teachers. What was the crime of their teacher? He prevented them from copying during the West African certificate examination. We have the teacher here to narrate the ordeal he went through to us. It's in the person of Mr. Walter Yesuto. Hello, sir.
Hello.
You're welcome to GhanaWeb.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You know, it was a very difficult experience for you, but we'd like you to go through what you went through with us.
Okay. So, like you said, it's very difficult, but I'll try my possible best. Yeah. So on Monday, which was 16th. So on 16th, Monday, the visual arts students wrote their last paper, which was integrated science. That was a core subject. So after they were done with the paper, they went to lay ambush outside the school, waiting for us to come so that they will attack us. So one of the students, who was a girl, heard about it, and she came back to the school to come and tell us that, there are a number of students outside, they want to attack you. So we asked them, why? Why would they want to attack? They said, sir, you didn't allow them to cheat in the WASI. That is your crime. And I said, really? So I thought she was joking. But my colleague alerted me that, Charlie, the students can do that. So I'm in the Department of Physical Education, and I was with my head of department. So we have a rapport with the area guys because they come and use our pitch to play football in the evenings. And there are days that they buy balls for us as a department because they've been using our pitch, you know. So we talk and we have the rapport with them. So they came and asked us why the students are outside like that. Because under normal circumstances, everybody is done. And they should go to their houses. Why are they there? And we said, oh, this is what we have heard. So those boys said, okay, so we can't leave you to go like that. We will help you. But what can you also do? I said, okay, so we can call the headmaster to call the police, Ghana police. At least they should be around. So assistant headmaster was called, and then he also called the police command. So immediately they responded and they came. Patrol team came. I think they were not less than 5, I can recall. Yes, so when they came, the students were there. They were breaking the louver blades and causing mayhem in the school, but they were not closer to where we were. So the moment the police came, they started running, helter-skelter. So the police drove them out of the school. So at that particular time, the area boys also told us that, okay, so let's move. So they were escorting us. So they were around us and we were in the middle. So they escorted us little by little until we got to the junction where we could pick our car. Can you imagine that one of the boys actually tracked us right from the gate of the school till we picked a car to go home? He was tracking us. Yes. So we went home and then we thought that was their last paper, so they are not coming around again. And so the next day was the 17th, which was Tuesday. Other students were supposed to write economics. So we came, I was invigilating again. So we came and then we invigilated. Then after invigilation, we realized that there are students who didn't write economics, but they are in school uniform. So it means that the visual arts students came back in school uniform. Yes. Even though they didn't write paper, they came back to come and lay the ambush again. So like it happened on Monday, the area guys came out with us again. Now this is what happened. When they came out, we were moving. This time around, the moment the patrol team or the police were at the demonstration, you know, that was the day NDC protested for the this thing, the voter register. Yes. So the boys surrounded us, the area guys surrounded us, and then they were escorting us. So while they were escorting us, these students this time around threw water sachet at them. So they came back. They were furious. They ran back and then they were chasing the students. They want to catch them. And I was telling them that, oh, this is just water. It's not anything serious. You leave them and let's go. So they left them and then they returned. Just in about 2 minutes, they started throwing stones at them. This time around, I told them they should leave them. They didn't mind. They went back looking for anybody in school uniform around that time to beat, because as at that particular time, we had closed the exams and everybody is supposed to be at home by then. So they
so it was the area boys who were running after the students.
Yes, after the students threw stones at us. So they went back. So whilst they were running after the students, I told my HOD and the other teacher that, oh, now the focus is not on us. So let's hurry up and leave the place. They said, okay. What you are saying is true. So we hurried up. And then halfway the journey, we saw that there was another ambush waiting for us. And we couldn't go back because the other squad were also using the other path. So that is where we stood. And then passerbyers decided to talk to the students. Oh, why do you want to? And they were bold. They were bold, telling them that they didn't allow us to cheat. He is too strict in the WASI. That is when we realized that they were not targeting anybody apart from me, because the teachers they went closer to the students and they were stopping them and they were talking to them. Do you get it? Yeah. So in the attempt to leave where they were, I saw that the boys, the area boys, the boys they pursued, they all came around, and they were about 30. Yes, about 30. If you watch the video, you have about 13 seconds video. If you watch the video, they were about 30. So they outnumbers the 4 other 4 teachers excluding me, and they hit me with the fist, one with the elbow, and then others with stones, you know. So there was a man, so I can even show you the wound. There was a man who was eating in his shop. So when he saw what was going on, he saw that, oh, the students were more than the teachers. He left his food. I think he was eating cake. He left the food, and then he came. So he's the one who came to cover me. And said that I should come. Can you see that I was eating, but I came for you? Come. So he shielded me and sent me to his shop, in front of the shop. And he told me that I should sit down. So the shop has glasses. So I was telling him that they will throw stone at your glass. And he said I shouldn't worry, I should just sit down. They can't. Stone came, but it didn't get to where I was sitting. I mean the glass, I was sitting closer to the glass. It didn't get there. So that was when the other teachers and the man, he has some colleagues, they also came around, and then they did human fence in front of me, and I was sitting down on a plastic chair. The thing was paining me very well because there are places that the stones hit, even though it didn't create an external wound. Within, I could feel the pains. So I sat for more than 45 minutes. And then he saw that the students were gone. I think when we were sitting there, we saw that one policeman passed by. So that time, I had the opportunity to call headmaster. And I told headmaster that this is what is happening right now. So please, I beg you, if you can call the commander so that he will send some rescue team to come and rescue me, because I am finding it difficult to actually move. He said, okay. So in about 10 minutes time, he called back and told me that commander is not picking the call, but he was able to get a patrol team leader. The patrol team leader said where they are is not anywhere closer to Christian Methodists. So I should find a car, maybe a taxi, and use another route and then go back home. I said, okay, I hear. So I called Assistant Headmaster Academics too, and I told him that he should help me. He should also call police if he knows some. So he also called, but he didn't get to them.
So all this time the students were still waiting?
The students were around. You can see them loitering around because the men were standing in front of me and they were shielding me. They were not able to come closer. So after Assistant Headmaster also called and said that he couldn't get them, I think the students left. So when they left, the man told us that so now that they have left, we should come. So the man and his friends shielded us again. They sent us to the roadside, waited for a car, and then we entered the car. Now when we entered the car, the man did very well. Unfortunately, I was in great pain, so I couldn't ask for his name. But when I see him, I can identify him.
Okay.
So he made the driver stop. He looked into through the window to check those in the car before he told the driver to start moving. So that's what he did, and then the car started moving. So when I got to my junction, I didn't alight at the normal place. So I went to another place. I alighted, and then I used another route to the house. That was what happened on Tuesday, 17 September 2024. So when I got to my coordinator master, and he asked if I'm home. I said, yes, I'm home. I said, okay, so I have to report at the police. And I told him that what is happening to me right now, I'm not sure I can go to the police station. And then I am afraid I can't go out. I can't go out right now. So, and he said, okay, but I have to report. So tomorrow, God willing, I should do that. So I went to the police station the next day, which was, I think, Wednesday, and reported the issue to the police. And then they gave me a medical form. And then they took my statement. So I wrote the names of the boys, those I could remember as at that time. There were a lot of them in the video or during the time the issue was happening. I know their faces, but their names I wasn't able to remember at once. So I wrote those I could remember, and then I gave the statement, and I went to the hospital.
Okay. Did you share the video with the police?
Yes, I did. I shared the video with the police. I shared it with my headmaster. So headmaster asked where I got the video from. And I told him that what happened was that when I got home, another student who completed the previous day, she used to buy food for us. So we'll call her, we'll send her, she'll buy food. So she used to come to our office. So she saw the video. And so she called and said, "Sir, where are you? Are you okay?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "I've seen you in a video. And the way they were throwing the stones at you, I don't think you are okay. That's why I'm asking." And I said, "Well, it actually happened, but I am safe now." And he said, "Oh, I'm very sorry." And I said, "Where is the video?" He said, "Oh, I can record it from somebody's state." And I said she should do it and send it to me. So she recorded the video and sent it to me. Okay. And then I forwarded it to the headmaster.
So you mentioned having some injuries. The
Yes.
doctors checked.
Yeah, the doctors checked. I went, the surgical officer checked, and I was given medication. And then she wrote a report, and then I sent it back to the police station.
Okay. With this, we'll go for a short break. We'll be back on Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV. Welcome back to Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV. So, Mr. Walter, yes, we ended at you sending a report to the police. Yes. Has any of the culprits been arrested by the police?
Yes, please. They've arrested two of them. Okay. Two of them, whose names and pictures were sent to the police CID. Yes. So I was, the day I sent the report to the police CID, that was the day the senior housemaster was still in school. So the senior housemaster too is a PE teacher. You get it? So he was at post, and then he called that, "Oh, they've arrested." He said, so first of all, he said he has seen one of the boys around. So he will let them arrest the boy so that he will come for him. Okay. Before that, the inspector told me that there is a boy inside. He doesn't know whether he is part or he's not part. So he will take me to the boy. I will go and look at his face and I will confirm whether he is part or he's not part. Then I said, okay. He said, that is what I'm supposed to do. I shouldn't go and fight. I said, okay, I hear. So we went there, and the moment I saw him, I recognized him. Wow. He was part of them. Wow. And he threw a stone at me. Wow. Yes, that boy actually threw a stone at me. So I told that's my right number. So I told the inspector that this boy is one of them. He threw a stone at me. And I don't know if I can mention his name, but I think let me hold on with the name. Okay. So we went back, and then senior housemaster called. Then he mentioned the boy he has seen. That was the boy was the first person to assault me. Wow. So he used his elbow to hit my jaw. Wow. Because he was asking that, why is it that I won't come and beat them? And then I have called people to come and guide me, and those people are beating them. Why is it that I will not come and beat them? So while he was talking, I didn't say anything. I was just standing there watching him because my other colleagues were calming the rest down. And then by the time I realized, he used his elbow to hit my jaw. That particular boy is a boy who has threatened me before. He has told me that he's going to beat me. That was when he slapped a teacher. And then he scaled the wall. When they decided to catch him, he scaled the wall and left. So later on, headmaster came and pleaded with the teacher that, oh, we should do it professionally. So the boy came back, he was given suspension, and then he came with his father. So I went to the headmistress's office, assistant headmistress administration's office. The father was sitting there with the boy, and I told the father that this your son told me that he will beat me. Look at me. Your son said he will beat me. When something happens to me, your son will be held responsible.
Was it before the incident?
Yes, this was before the incident. So the father told me that he begs. He's just a small boy and a foolish boy. He cannot do anything. I told him that you should talk to your son. This boy, the boys, what they say, they can actually do it. That's why they say it. So I left there. So can you imagine somebody who threatened that he's going to beat me? Yes. And then when the opportunity came, he was the first person to elbow me. Wow. And I was just looking at these boys. In fact, I actually asked one of the boys, so are you sure that when you meet me one-on-one and nobody is around, you can beat me? So I asked him. That boy said they should leave you so that he slaps me. I was looking at him. I taught him Form 1, Form 2. And I was just looking at him.
Yeah, it must be really painful for that.
I was in pain, not because of the stones, but it was paining me that children I have sacrificed my life to teach. They are the people who stood against me.
So have they started any criminal proceedings? Have you gone to court?
Not yet. We've not gone to court. But during the weekend, one of the boys who have been arrested, the father, somebody called. I don't know whether it's the father. He called, and I didn't know. So I picked, and he said he wants to see me. He wants to see me at the police station. And I told him I'm not in town. I'm not around. You can't see me. He said, when will I come? I said, I don't know. When I come, maybe you will see me, but I can't tell you because for security reasons, I am not even at where I live.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they are still in the police custody?
The two,
those who are arrested?
For my information, the two should be there because the police has not told me anything concerning the fact that they want to release them or they have released them.
Okay.
Because I saw them in there. So what I know is that they should be there.
Okay. And the dad called you to come to the police station?
Yes.
So they should be, I think they should be there?
Exactly. Yes. So that is that.
So the prosecutors, they haven't told you anything?
Yes, I've not been told anything. I've not been called yet.
Okay.
So I am waiting for their call. I'm waiting for them. They know the law. So whatever the law says, the law should have its course. I don't have anything to say. Even if the father calls me right now, I don't have anything to say. The law should have its course.
Okay.
Yes.
So this, like you indicated, is very difficult on you. Has it had any psychological effect on you?
Oh yes. I've not been able to have enough rest. So sometimes I sleep and I hear noise in the sleep. And I'm not able to sleep for long. I sleep
Since the
and
incident?
Yes. So 1 hour I have to open my eyes. Sometimes I open my eyes and as if there are some of the boys around. So I'm trying to protect myself. So sometimes I see my wife, she will get up and then she will use the hand to check if I'm okay. And most of the time when she's doing that, my eyes are closed, but I'm not asleep. So I see her. So you can see what is happening in the house. She also doesn't sleep because of that. You know, when she saw the video, she was crying. I was also sobbing, but for her not to continue crying, I had to hide mine. Can you imagine? So psychologically, yes, I am facing a lot, and I'm going to go through therapy. I'm supposed to see my therapist today, but like I said, I wasn't in town. So I will talk to him later.
So aside seeking psychological help, your wounds, are they mending? Are you getting okay? The physical wound you sustained?
The physical...
Did the doctors give you any medication?
Yes, they gave me medications and I'm taking them. I took one this morning. And then there is a gel I'm supposed to use to dress the wound. So I am doing that as well. So when I cough or I sneeze, I hear pains at the places where the stone hit. Yes, so those places I feel the pains. But I think by the grace of God, it is not severe as compared to Tuesday. Yes. Yeah.
So what about the school? Have they taken any measures to help you, support you since the incident?
Yes. So when I went to the hospital, the headmaster called me. And then he asked how things were going. And I told him that, well, I didn't plan for this. So I don't have enough money to do all the medical things. So immediately he told me that, okay, so that's why he called. I should let him know so that my Momo line, so that he will send something. So headmaster sent 250 cedis. to help me augment whatever I had so that I can go on with the proceedings. So as we were ongoing, I realized that assistant headmistress domestic also called. So when she called, she told me that she was also calling to ask if I've been able to do the necessary things with the money on me. She knows that it is impromptu, so I should let her know when I am short of cash so that she can also help. So the next day, I went to the hospital again. So I told her, I called her and I informed her. Then she also sent 200 cedis. So that is what the school did so far. And headmaster told me that he has also written a formal letter to regional director
of the Ghana Education Service.
Yes, of Ghana Education Service concerning whatever that has happened. And he has mentioned some of the students. He wasn't there, so those that I mentioned, he mentioned some of them in his report to the director.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, in terms of security-wise, can you go to the school now? Are they putting measures in place to lead into the school?
I don't really know if they are putting measures in place, but when I went to the police station, commander said that they will be going. That was the Friday when they captured the boys. That was the last paper for the day. And even Tuesday, that wasn't the last paper. You see what happened. So they actually went there. The patrol team went there. That is all that I can say. I've not been there again. I don't know what security measures that have been placed, that have been put in place so far. I'm not sure I am able to go there anytime soon. I'm not seeing myself going there right now. Yes, because I am afraid. I think about my family a lot. So if somebody one of my friends called me and was like, so what will your family do if something bad had happened? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. But so for now, I've not thought of going there.
Yes.
So I told headmaster I'm not in town. He's around. He's aware that I'm not around.
Okay.
Yes.
So generally speaking, you see that we've seen this trend of violence in our secondary schools.
Yes.
Even before your incident, we saw a student being stabbed at Orali Senior High School. Does it tell on the kind of education we are giving our students now?
Okay, so with that, the issue.
Because it seems the students are becoming violent.
Yes.
We record pockets of violence, especially during examination. And this is not the first time a teacher has been attacked.
Exactly.
A teacher was attacked, I think, last year's Wasi. And
I think Bright Senior High School.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is this something we are not teaching our students?
It's not about the teaching. It is about the fact that you can't touch a student any longer. Whether to punish him or her for doing the wrong thing. You can't beat them. I see a lot of people saying that caning is not the only way of correcting a bad behavior. I agree. But this is the case where when you give the student a portion of work to do because he has misbehaved, he won't do it and you can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Do you get it? You can't punish him. You can't do anything about it. They will come and sit around. You just can't touch them. Yes. So I think because of that is why they are still doing this.
Okay. So the lack of correction is why there's more immorality.
I believe so. Because when we were in school, it wasn't like that. Okay. When you don't come to school, you are even trying to hide from your teacher. How much more coming to stand in front of your teacher?
And say you
beat him.
And even beating him.
Yes.
Wow.
And you actually walked the talk at long last. You get it? Yes. So this is what is happening.
Okay. So do you have any advice for students and teachers how
I think
this thing can be resolved?
Let me go with the teachers first. They are my colleagues. They have to be careful. Very, very careful. They have to be very careful with their students. It doesn't matter whether the student is in Form 1, Form 2, or Form 3. Any student at all can be dangerous. because I saw Form 2 students during the attack, and I saw a past student in school uniform who joined them. I invigilated him last year, but he was in school uniform, dressed like a current student
just to attack.
Yes, just to attack me. Can you imagine? So they should be careful. They should protect themselves wherever they get to. I don't know the kind of protection they will go for, but they should be very, very careful as they go back to their school, wherever they are. Because it's not only in Christian Methodist Senior High School. Yes, a lot of them happening in Bright Senior High School or Raleigh, you know. And the students, I want them to understand that we don't hate them. I don't know why they think we hate them. You can't say I hate you because I didn't allow you to cheat. You are not supposed to cheat in the exam room. You are supposed to learn. Come and sit down and write whatever that you have learned. And when you don't have anything to write again, and the time is not due, you put your head on the table and you sleep. When it is time, we will call you and tell you that it is time, bring your paper. And then you get out.
Okay, but just to add something.
Yeah.
So don't you think some teachers are allowing students to copy because they are afraid to attack them?
I think some people are allowing students to copy because they are afraid the students will attack them. I also heard that others too.
A headmaster came out to say they were allowing students to copy because they were being paid or something.
I've not said that.
Yes.
But it's possible. So a teacher will decide to I met a lot of people from Tuesday to today. I've met a lot of people, medical personnel, security personnel, who were asking me, why didn't you allow them to cheat so that you'll be free? And I said, well, I am a Christian and my biblical principle doesn't allow me to do that. So at least there should be somebody who will be different from the lot. Yes, that is it. So I actually did that because I am a Christian. I'm a Christian. I go to Great Commission Church International. Do you get it? Yes. And my church, you don't cheat in exams. We teach it. And I like to practice what they teach. WAEC officials called. And they said that, hello, Mr. Walter, we are proud of you. We learned about the ordeal. We are very sorry. We heard that you are a pastor. I said, I'm not a pastor. I am a Christian. I am a church member. But we have to live the scriptures we read every day. You don't have to be a pastor to do the right thing. You just have to be a Christian to do the right thing. And that is it. Well, to add to that, WAEC officials called me. So they have called and they have also asked for my report. I have also given them reports, including the names and pictures and index numbers of those students that I can remember. I think about nine of them. Later on, we went to do further investigation. So the video was zoomed and then screenshots was taken by my colleagues, teachers, and then they helped to fish out those people that I couldn't recollect because of the situation as at the time. Yeah. So.
Okay, so with this, we end this edition of Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV. We pray that Mr. Walter will get justice, and we also pray that there will be some sanity in our schools because the violence in our secondary schools are becoming too much. In the past few years, we've seen students being stabbed, at least 6 students being stabbed, and students beating teachers. We pray that our educational authorities will put measures in place to curb this menace.
Kolebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@ghanaweb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #LegalizeOrganDonationNow. Organ failure should not be a death sentence.
In 2011, his ambition to become the president of the country was launched with the formation of the Independent People's Party. But a few years after that, he dissolved that very party and then formed a new one called the Liberal Party of Ghana. He has successfully contested in one general election and currently sits on the 5th position of the 2024 election ballot paper. Today on election desk, I sit with the flag bearer of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Apalo. Hello, sir. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing very well, thanks. It's been a while. How's everything going?
Oh, everything is going fine.
We're already in the campaign season now. You look quite tired.
Oh, yes, because we just came back from home for our manifesto launch.
Okay.
And it was very hectic, so yeah.
So let's just briefly go back. You set up the IPP, which was the Independent People's Party. Now you are the same, another party, LPG. Why did you do that change?
Actually, we just made a name change. You know, we changed the name from IPP to LPG because people were confused with the word independent. You know, even people who are supposed to know will even refer to us as independent candidates. So we said, okay, we are liberals. We are part of the Liberal International and then African Liberal Network. So why don't we let people know where our agenda is and what we are focusing on? So that brought a change to Liberal Party. Yeah.
Very well. So Mr. Apalo, you contested in the 2020 elections. What key lessons, and you are contesting now in 2024, what key lessons did you pick from that 2020 elections? It's been 4 years now and you are seeking to vie again.
What I learned from that is that I didn't do well in the last election, and because I didn't campaign on time, I waited to the election year, and when I started, there was this COVID, so I couldn't, you know, because of the lockdown, so I couldn't go out to campaign until October. So that caused me to get few numbers. And then also, I was number 8 on the ballot. And then being number 8 on the ballot is not good thing.
You don't think it's a favorable?
No. It's not a favorable position, because you realize that the size of the length of the ballot sheet, was longer than the table where we have to place it and then do the casting, So it was to do the thumbprint, and it was very, very difficult to even thumbprint on the table or on the desk. So that's another challenge, And then until the person knows where he's going to look for you down there, it's not easy.
So you think it's good to be number 1, number 2, first 3?
Yes, it would be ideal to be number 1 or number 2.
Okay.
But I got number 5, and I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll definitely come to your position, which is number 5. But then we've been in this country for quite some time. We've had a number of elections, but we've had NDC, MPP, usually being the main candidates that usually vie for the presidency. Your party is an independent one. What exactly do you think your parties bring into the table to sort of break this duopoly of MPP and NDC?
This election, I'll win the election.
You are very sure?
Yeah, 100%. I'll win it.
How sure are you can win this
Yeah,
election?
because I've been ordained as president of this country.
You've been ordained?
Yeah.
By who?
By God Almighty. Yeah, because you see, God runs the affairs of men, and then he decides who to be the leader at a point in time. So God spoke to me on the 10th of March 2010. That was why I started this journey.
Oh, so you had a call from God?
Yes, God spoke to me in my dream that Kofi have made you president of Ghana on the 10th of March 2010, 11th of March, 12th of March, and 13th of March 2010, 4 consecutive days. And then that's why I started this journey. And God has been good to me. And this election, I'm winning because everything indicates that what I saw in my dream has come to pass. Okay, so this election, what we are bringing on board is that we want to introduce child benefits.
Okay.
Every child below 18 years will be given 500 cedis every month.
We'll definitely come to some of your policies and you'll better explain that for us. But do you think Ghanaians are ready for a third force? I mean, there have been calls for a third force, because everyone seems to be tired of the MPP and DC.
Yeah, so that you've answered your question already.
No,
Ghanaians are tired already. Yeah, Ghanaians are looking for somebody to rescue them.
But do you think the structures are in place for a third force?
Oh yes, we have. We are everywhere in this country. That is why when you travel around, you find our posters all over. You see this poster there? Everywhere in Ghana, you find it. And men and women are mending them. So that should tell you that we are on course. I don't know whether you send a reporter to our manifesto lunch at home over the weekend.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, okay. Because over there you would have noticed that the turnout was fantastic. Because people didn't expect that LPG will have that kind of numbers attending a function like that nature in Ho, because the thing is an NDC stronghold. NDC has no stronghold in voter region anymore.
You think so?
Oh yes. I can tell you, I will beat NDC in voter region.
You are very sure?
100%.
How are you going to do that?
Because I'm the only Voterian in this election. And number 5. And number 5 is VOLTA, voter. 5. The first Voterian to be there.
So you think your position as number 5 was an ordained one, like you
yes,
said?
because that day, do you know what happened?
What happened?
Those who participated in that lottery that day, they all won with my number 5 and number 2. Because those, my candidates, the parliamentary candidates, most of them are going to be number 2 on the ballot. So they decided to cast this lottery, whatever, this state lottery that day, and they won. Go and check. Friday. Single 5, single 2.
So you think it was not a fair process? You think they had to stake some lottery before?
No, they decided to Because when I picked the number 5, that came into my mind that this number will be a lotto number. Because it's a lucky number. It's a lot. You know, lucky is L-U-C-K-Y. Lucky number. And it's magic too. M-A-G-I-C. Magic. It's a magic number. You know, and you see here the star over there. Okay. That is our logo. It has 5 points. The 5 edges. So this number 5 is a spiritual number. Yeah.
So you're very sure that
we'll break the duopoly. LPG is the party to break the duopoly, and it's BREAK. Everything is 5.
We'll definitely come to some of the policies that you want to outline. I know you have something to do with giving children some benefits, financial benefits here and there, but I just want to go back briefly. I know elections are very expensive in this country. You've had to come up with about 100,000 Ghana cedis for the filing fee. Yeah. How exactly did you come up with this money, and do you have the backing to support you to
100,000 cedis? Yes. 100,000 is a chicken fee.
100,000 cedis is a chicken change for you. Oh, yes. But some candidates are complaining that it was too much.
And then they were not ready.
Yeah, sure.
If you can't raise 100,000, then you are not ready to be president.
Wow.
Because going around to campaign in these 16 regions, you don't know how much it will cost you.
But don't you think that's too expensive?
No. It's too cheap.
Really?
Yes, to become president of Ghana and then to put your name on the ballot.
But
and you are only paying 100,000 cedis. It's too cheap. They should make like 2 million cedis.
Really?
Yes.
How many people can afford 2 million Ghana cedis?
Then you are not ready to be there.
So okay. So
you see, Ghanaians are complaining. Ghanaians are complaining. They are saying that it's becoming so easy for people to be on the ballot. We want to be president and the rest. So if they make like 5 million cedis,
okay,
5 million cedis, and then they make the parliamentary candidate free.
Do you want to make it difficult for people to buy?
No. For the parliamentary candidate, it should be free.
Okay.
But for the presidency, 5 million. 5 million cedis pay, and then if you get 12.5%, you get your money back.
Don't you think it's more like
so that we can have only few people?
Don't you think you are selling it to the highest
bidder? No, we are not selling. We are giving it to people who are serious. So that when you get there, it means you are serious.
But at the moment, we have 13 people on that.
That's what people are complaining, that we had 39 people who picked the forms, who wanted to contest. And people were complaining that why is that it's now so easy that everybody wants to be president. You understand? So if people are complaining, then we have to look at it and see, okay, what can we do to trim it? To trim it, make it 5 million cedis, or at least 2 million cedis.
So you believe in at least trimming down the numbers to what, 5?
Maybe if it's going to be 3, that'll be fine. Yeah, if it's 3, that'll be fine.
I mean, that means they're not going to make the competition open for everyone then.
Then let's make it 50 cedis.
Okay, so that means that the average Ghanaian can
exactly 50 cedis, so they can have, let's say, 1 million people filing.
So, Mr. Apalo, you've been campaigning across the country for some time now. Can you outline some 3 key issues as part of your campaign that is going to woo voters to come to the LPG and vote for you come December 7, 2024?
That is the unemployment benefit that we are introducing, child benefit that we are introducing, and also the job fund.
Okay.
We are setting up a job fund to help the young people to get jobs.
Okay.
So we believe that these 3 should be the magic.
I'm very interested in the job fund, because a lot of our unemployment numbers keeps surging every year. From your point of view, if you can share with us with some numbers, how many jobs are you looking at?
Oh, actually, we intend to create 1 million new entrepreneurs.
Okay.
New entrepreneurs by the end of 2028.
Okay. So that's almost a 10-year, an 8-year plan, right?
Oh no, that's a 4-year.
A 4-year, okay, 2028.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So the next election will be 2028.
Okay.
So we want to create at least 1 million new entrepreneurs. And then if you are able to create that number, and they are able to create 3 to 4 jobs averagely, we're talking about 4 million jobs in addition to themselves. So 5 million by 2028.
And you think these jobs will be sustainable?
Exactly.
I'm asking because we've had a lot of policies. We've had the NABCO, all these policies, but they've not been sustainable. So how are you going to sustain these jobs?
Because this one, we're going to support the young people to start their own businesses.
Okay.
So because we believe that the young people have something in them from God, that we as a country, we have to give them the opportunity to make it. When you go to the book of Acts chapter 2 verse 17, or the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 28, it says, in the years ahead, I, God, am going to pour my spirit on all flesh. Your young men and women will see visions. So to my understanding, the young people carry visions. But vision alone is not enough. You need the needed support to bring to fruition your vision. So as a leader of this country, when I become president, I'm going to make provision for the young people to kickstart or to bring out their vision. If we take a person like Bill Gates, he started Microsoft Corporation when he was 18 years. If we take Mark Zuckerberg, started Facebook when he was 19. If we take a person like Michael Dell, started their computers when he was 19 years. If we take Apple Corporation.
They all started very young.
Yeah, those who started Apple Corporation were two guys. That's Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs was 21 and Steve Wozniak was 24 years. Even your Gmail that you are using, or Google, you know, the guys who started it, this guy, what is the name? Michael Page.
Larry Page.
Yeah, Michael Page. He started when he was 24. So if you look at all these young people, they started something. But America has been programmed such that they call it a land of opportunities. When you have anything that you want to do, you get the needed support to realize that. So I want to turn Ghana into a land of opportunities, so that any young man out there with fantastic vision will be supported and then bring to fruition what they have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Apalo. I'll just take a quick break and then we'll be right back.
Right.
I've been speaking with Mr. Kofi Apalo, and he's the flag bearer of the Liberal Party of Ghana. He's been outlining his vision for the country ahead of the upcoming December 7 elections. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that break on Election Desk. I am Mauli Aholimeka. My guest is still Mr. Kofi Apalo, and he's the flag bearer of the LPG. Mr. Apalo, I've been having a very interesting conversation with you. I'm very interested in one of your policies, which is the child benefits. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, what we intend to do is that every child below 18 years will be given 500 cedis every month.
Okay.
The idea is that when you pump money into the system, you are stimulating the economy to generate demand activities. So assume you have 4 kids, and we give you 500 cedis per child. It's 2,000 cedis. Yeah, when you get a 2,000 cedis, I don't think you put them in a box. You definitely go and spend it. So when you spend it, and we have an organized system, you're going to get the monies back from you. How are you going to do that? Anything that you purchase with that money, it will attract VAT. The VAT will come to the state. Okay? Now, the monies will be circulating in the economy. And when anytime you put, let's say, 1 cedi in the economy, it has to revolve 27 times. Okay? Because the money will be moving in circles from here to here to there and to there and to there 27 times before the money goes back. So every step that the money is moving, it will be attracting VAT, and then it will be coming back to the state. If your business is doing well now, you have confidence to employ more people to help you. Because when you pump money, it's going to help your small businesses to do well. And so when you employ more hands, you will pay them at the end of the day. And when you pay them, you are going to deduct SNET contribution from them. You are going to deduct PAYE, pay as you earn, from that's the income tax. And this goes to the state again. The little money left, that is the net pay. When they buy goods and services with that money, it will also attract VAT. So you see, the monies, more of the monies will be coming back to the state. And the businesses, when they do well, they will also pay corporation tax or income tax. It will also come back to the state. So support the small businesses to grow, become bigger businesses, and then they will pay back to the state in that format. And when you are able to do such a thing, you realize that the economy, everybody will be happy one way or the other. And those who have the brains to create products and create services will also be doing that. It will even help your company because you'll be doing a lot of adverts. Now businesses, when they know what people will buy, their products, they will have the confidence to advertise their services and their products because they know that there's money in the system, you know. So I've lived in UK, I've lived in US, I've lived in Republic of Ireland. My staying there, I did not go there to look for money. I went there to go and learn how those people have been able to reach where they are, and we are behind. So I've learned their system, and I've learned so much that when I'm given the opportunity to serve this country, I'll be able to transform Ghana and turn Ghana around.
Speaking of experiences, we currently have a major experience all in front of all of us, which is the Galamsey issue. It's become topical across all media platforms, social media. Everyone is talking about Galamsey. Should you be given the nod on December 7th as the president of the country, how will your government tackle Galamsey?
Oh, Galamsey is not a big problem.
You are sure it's not a big problem?
You know,
it is currently a big problem.
Yeah, you see, it's something that can be managed easily.
You are sure of this? But the president said the current president said he put his presidency on the line.
I don't need to put my presidency.
And he lost some votes in parliament because of that menace.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as easy as you're making it sound to be.
It's not difficult to.
You're very sure of this?
Oh yeah. When I become president, all our water bodies will be clean.
How are you going to do that?
And then we are still going to mine. Because you're going to do responsible mining.
Mr. Akwali, please, let's pause. You said you would make sure that the water bodies are clean. And you will still mine.
Yes.
That's still going back to the problem again.
No.
So how are you going to tackle it?
Yeah, to do it, what we'll do is that we are going to, from Minerals Commission source, we have over 3 million Galamseyers. So when I become president, these 3 million Galamseyers, I'm going to bring them together. And then help them to open 3 or 4 or 5 companies. And these 4 or 5 companies, they are going to be the shareholders of that company.
So you're going to bring them under one umbrella, right?
Yes. So they will all put their resources together to form that company. Now, assuming each person will be able to contribute an average of say $1,000 to buy shares in that new company, and you have 3 million of them, we're talking about $3 billion. And no company like Anglo Gold, Newmont, or whatever has brought that kind of money to this country. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll ask them to put their resources together, and those small scale mining companies, I'm going to ask them to put their resources together, consolidate them, and form a company owned by them. And then they appoint their own directors and managers and whatever to do the work for them. So when they are able to do that, we're going to make sure we get value for money. Now, they will be operating like the Anglo Gold, the Newmont, and the rest. And if Newmont is doing good mining, these new companies are also going to do the same. And now they're going to get more than they are doing now. They are going to use little equipment. Unlike currently everybody has an excavator here and there. So they're going to have more working capital instead of putting all their money into fixed assets. So in this direction, our people are going to mine responsibly, and then whatever they get, government can now decide to buy from them and buy them in cities. Now, eventually, we're not going to phase out all these foreign ownership, foreign companies, and the ownership will come to Ghana.
But don't you think you need the foreign companies as well, because they bring in
if they stay,
foreign revenue to your economy?
They don't bring any foreign anything to us. They take everything away. So, but if you are able to get your people to do the mining across, everything that they do, you take it from them. You pay them in cities, and then you will have time to add value to them, and then sell and make the money. So that's why you can get enough foreign currencies or whatever.
Mr. Valuba, I just want to know, how exactly are you going to tackle the environmental destruction that Galamsey is doing, particularly to the water bodies and even the health because there's a looming health crisis. It's likely we may not even be getting water to drink in the next couple of years. Ghana Water Company has already issued a warning and all of that. How are you going to ensure that the river bodies that we have in the country are back to where they used to be?
If your money is working for you, you'll stay home and your money will be working for you. Are you okay? Now, you contributed to own shares in this new company. So that company has the resources and they are doing responsible mining. So they can be sued for land degradation, they can be sued for environmental pollution and whatever.
So you will go the enforcement route?
Exactly.
Okay.
So now there won't be any Galamseys around because all the Galamseys are now shareholders in this new company. So what are you doing there yourself? If you are a small scale mine, you say no. Come together, form one big company, put your resources there. So we have only about 10 or 12 mining companies in this country. There won't be any Galamsey anywhere.
So you would reduce the number?
Yeah, because
once they come under the umbrella that you explained to me.
So they become a company.
Okay.
And then your monies are working for you. If you take Newmont, who are the owners of Newmont? Do you know them?
Some South Africans. I
No.
mean, it's a collection of
so many
people. Yes. Yeah.
Who have put their resources together, and then the money is working for them. So why don't we also put resources together, and then let the money work for us? So, but here we believe that small scale, go and do here, go and do there, go and do there, go and do there, and then everybody is doing everything. No, all of you come together, form one company, and let the company do it. So your money is working in there. You can relax, you can sleep, and every month or every 6 months you get returns from your investment.
Okay. Mr. Apalo, let's just stay on the money a bit. You made mention of one of your policies, which is the child policy. We are currently under an IMF program. Majority of our funds is coming from the IMF to sustain the economy. Where are you going to get this money from to do the Galamsey thing, to do the child policy thing, to do the job fund thing, all of these things under an IMF program? How are you going to, where are you going to get the money from?
Okay, from the IMF. Have we ever received CDs from IMF before?
No, so they send us dollars and then the Bank of Ghana gives us the government the CDs.
Okay, so do we need to get IMF to give us dollars before we get CDs? We don't need it. So, you see, my understanding of running an economy is that you have to use your own currency to run the economy.
Okay.
You don't need to depend on anybody's currency. If you depend on somebody's currency, you'll become a taker. And then the giver will always be Lord over the taker. Okay? So we need to refrain. We need to liberate ourselves from that dependency. Let's start thinking of doing things for ourselves. So we are going to use cities to run this economy. If I'm giving you 500 cities, it's not $500. 500 cities, and the 500 cities is sitting at Bank of Ghana. Have you ever seen dollars in the market before?
No, it's usually the cities.
You do know every year we buy cocoa in this country and then we go and borrow money to buy the cocoa, syndicated loan. When I become president, we will cancel that, we will abolish that.
You abolish the cocoa syndicated?
Yes, it's not necessary.
But Cocoa Board now says they are doing a self-finance.
Exactly, because they listen to me.
Oh, so you give them an
Exactly.
advice?
Exactly.
Really?
I'll be saying it.
We can verify this with Cocoa Board?
You can go to, maybe they will not admit it, but if you go to Asempa FM, I've been saying this.
That they should self-finance?
Exactly, because I said it several times that when I become president, I'm not going to borrow money to buy cocoa. Because have you ever heard that maybe or seen that a cocoa farmer in Ghana was paid with dollars before?
No, it's usually in cedis.
In cedis. So where were the cedis sitting that they went to borrow dollars to come and buy the cocoa? It means you had the cedis here, so why should you go and buy, borrow and pay transaction fees and pay interest on that? I mean, I don't want to use some words, completed words, but let me tell you, it doesn't make sense. Last time, Cocoa Board went to borrow $800 million.
Yeah.
They gave them 2 tranches. The first one, 600. Do you know how much came to Ghana? 541 million. So $59 million went to transaction fees. That $59 million could have built us a factory. to employ some of our young people. So check 32 years from 1992 up to date that we've been borrowing money every year to buy cocoa. If we are losing 15 million for that number of years, 32 years, we wasted money. Okay, so when I become president, we're not going to do that. Instead of borrowing to spend that money on transaction fees and whatever, we use that money to build a factory. So after 4 years, at least I'll be able to save that money to build 4 factories in Ghana here. So we're going to use our cities to run our economy. We're not going to depend on dollar. That is why I keep on saying that when I become president, we're not going to import rice. I'm going to ban importation of poultry. Nobody will bring poultry to this country after 6 months in government. Because we're going to support our farmers with money to start producing poultry. Because we are eating poultry here. Okay.
And do you have an avenue to support the private sector in some of the policies that you've outlined?
Yes, it's on our plan.
Okay.
That at least we identify 10 poultry farmers who are serious and we give them $50 million equivalent each. Okay. And then let them produce the poultry. Okay. So that instead of you going to import from Turkey or Brazil or maybe Netherlands, it will take you about 5 months to get your goods in. So why don't you give the money to the aqua farms to produce the same quantity for you? If you can wait for 5 months to get your goods in, what stops you from giving the aqua farms that quantum of money to produce that volume of poultry for you? What about in food farms, Mankwazi and all this? So my government, we're going to support our locals to make them big companies. You know, our problem here in Ghana is that we have accepted that we can't do anything. Everything only a white person can do. It's not true. That is why I said to you that I have to learn a lot, and I believe that when I'm given the opportunity to serve this country, there's so many things that we are going to do by ourselves without importing. Because the more you keep importing, you are helping creating jobs elsewhere at the expense of your people. And then you always need dollars to import them. You are not generating enough dollars. So where would the excess come from? You have to pay in high cost. You see, when Kofi was living, the dollar was 1 cedi. So the dollar was 1 cedi.
Yeah.
When Mahama was living, it was 4 cedis. Now it's 16 cedis. So you see, but when Kofi came, it was 33 pesos. It was 33 pesos.
By the time we hadn't done the redenomination at the time.
Yeah. So it was 33 pesos. So by the time it was 33,000. If you let me say. So you see, from that time to the money jumped like that. So it means it will keep on going. Now, if you listen to the major parties, they are all promising that when they come, they're going to reduce cost of import, duty on import. But what are they telling you? They are going to continue with the problem. Okay? Because the more you import, the more dollars you will need. And you are not generating enough dollars in this country.
And the production levels are also not.
Exactly. So in the long run, we are going to suffer. So I can promise you, if you vote for any of the major parties, okay, you are going to end up buying a dollar at 50 cedis.
Very interesting.
Oh yes.
50 cedis,
oh, yes.
$1.
Oh yes. So when you vote for Kofi Apalo, it will be 5 cedis to the dollar.
Really? So you send it back?
Oh yes. I'm even looking that by the time I hit 8 years, 2 terms, it should be 1 cedi to the dollar.
Interesting.
Yeah, because we are going to generate everything here. This is your clothing, my clothing. We're going to support people to produce more cotton. Okay? More silk. So why are you going to import them? The leather, you're going to help people to produce a whole lot here. So we don't need to import. Because when you depend too much on importation, you end up miserable.
Yeah.
So I want you to be happy that the amount of money that your employer is paying you, you'll be happy to live on. Because now if they pay you, say, 100,000 a month, 100,000, when you convert them to cedis, to dollars is what? $6,300 or $7,000.
$7,000.
Okay. And then what about if I manage to bring the dollar to 111? It's going to give you 100,000. It's $100,000.
I don't think that's possible. Mr.
It's possible.
I don't think that's possible.
It's more than the word possible. No, don't. You see, our problem is that we have conscientized us to believe that we can't do anything. It's not true.
It would take a lot for us to move it back to 1 city
we
or
can.
4 cities.
We can. If we decide to do the right thing here in Ghana, we can.
Okay.
Or let's add value to what we produce. Why should we give our bauxite to foreigners? Why should we give our gold to foreigners? Why should we give our oil to foreigners? How are you going to make money? So collectively, if you are able to bring 1 million Ghanaians together and you ask them that, Charlie, everybody bring $1,000, you get $1 billion. And when you get $1 billion, you can invest in the oil production. Whatever comes is for you. Then other people will start thinking, okay, why don't you also come together? Another 1 million people will say, okay, we put $500 together, get $500 million. Let's add value to the oil that we are producing. Okay, somebody is sitting somewhere and said, okay, what about the Ghanaians in Germany? Why don't we bring them together? Let them own our bauxite minerals, and then we give it to them. They will mine it, and then another set of people from UK, they said, okay, we are also 1 million people. We can bring 1 billion pounds. We also add value we set up a refinery, and we add value to the bauxite that they produce. Another set of was, okay, now let's feed VACO with that. VACO, people say, okay, VACO is too small. Let's put more money in there so that VACO will be revamped. VACO produce aluminium. What do we use aluminium for? Aluminium foil, aluminium can and all those kind of trays and whatever. Even car parts, aircraft parts and whatever we use aluminium for, we can start producing them here. All that you have to do is to build extrusion plant so that you give the extrusion plant to produce the shape and then the sizes of whatever you want. Okay. Engine blocks, everything. We can produce them here. You see, we have to change our thinking. We love people with doctor degrees and whatever. I don't believe in those things. I believe in people who can actually do something with their hands. Okay, it's not about your qualification. It's about what you can do with your brain. And then we should also believe in ourselves that we as Ghanaians, we can do it. It's not only a white man who can do it.
Okay, Mr. Apalo, now let's move to a very critical sector of the economy: education and healthcare. How does your government plan to tackle these two very important sectors for every growing economy? Okay, if you take education, for instance, we are going to merge the JHS and the SHS to become one college, one stream, so that wherever you are doing your JHS, that's where you do the SS. It will continue. Okay. So you are not moving from your current JHS to another location. So you adopt a continuity model.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you finish there. So there will be JHS 1, JHS 2, JHS 3, 4, 5, 6, the same place. Okay, you finish it. But when you get to JHS 3, you do your BEC to get your junior certificate. And then when you finish, you do the higher school certificate or the living certification. And we're going to make education free from basic to tertiary. It's going to be free for every Ghanaian.
Where are you going to get the money to fund that?
The money is in the head.
In your head?
Yeah. Money is here. Money is not sitting anywhere.
Okay.
Don't let anybody deceive you. The money is held somewhere.
Mr. Apalo, but you need the money to invest before you put in the structures and the infrastructure, the classrooms, the tablets, the books, the pens, the teachers, and all of that. It all takes money.
But you can borrow them. All these things that you're talking about.
So you borrow money to
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong when you borrow to invest.
Mr. Apalo, but our debt stock is not the best.
Yeah, but if you don't borrow to invest, how do you pay the debt? Okay? But when you borrow and you spend, you don't get any returns. But when you borrow and you invest, the investment will pay back the loan. Okay? When I borrow money to invest in you, what you are doing today, you're going to do 10 times.
What about the healthcare sector?
We are going to build 10 state-of-the-art ultramodern hospitals.
You build more hospitals?
Yeah, 10 states.
We already have Agenda 111.
No. That's for the districts.
Okay.
Even the district, they are not enough because there are some districts that are so wide that people are living in various locations that they can't travel from that distance to where the hospital is. Okay, the hospitals should be closer to us.
So you would adopt borrowing to build these new hospitals?
I don't have a problem borrowing money to build quality hospital for our people, so that it will attract people from anywhere in the world to come here and then attend their medical treatment, and then you'll pay money. Okay. If I borrow money to build the best university in the world here in Ghana, you know how many people will be coming here to pay money to study here? If I build the best hospital in the world here, do you know what will happen? People will travel all the way from anywhere to come and then attend their medical treatment. So the thing is that you have been conscientized to think that borrowing is bad. Borrowing can never be bad, but it only gets wrong when you borrow and you spend. But when you borrow and we invest, the investment will give you returns.
Okay, so Mr. Apalo, corruption is it's a menace in this country.
Yeah.
How will your government tackle corruption when you take office?
Yeah, we will reduce it, but we cannot eradicate
reduce it.
But we cannot eradicate
How
it.
are you going to reduce it?
Yeah, we're going to make sure the system works. Both proper internal control mechanisms. Okay, make sure everybody file his or her tax return compulsory every year. You file your tax, I'll file my tax. And when you file your tax, you declare your assets and your liabilities. So I cannot steal money and put it in your name. You know, so if you file your tax, you declare your assets, I declare my assets. So it will not be only politicians declaring their assets. Okay, it will be everybody. So no politician can steal money and put it in somebody's name. Are you okay? Because you have, let's say, 10,000 now, and then the next year you file your tax and your asset has jumped to 20,000, 100% increment. We need to find out how you came by that. You understand? So we're going to make sure the system works.
Okay.
Everybody will have proper address system. So we know where you live, you know where I live. When you move from this address to that address, it should follow you. There should be a trail of everybody moving from one address to that address. Now you cannot just come and then start living in somebody's house without we know you in your background. So everything will be done properly. The system is going to be well organized.
Exactly, we're wrapping up. You picked number 5 on the ballot sheet for this year's presidential election. Is there any divine interpretation? You spoke about God talking to you in 2010 and all of that. Is there any divine interpretation for this number 5 position that you picked for the elections?
Oh, in fact, this election, yeah, I'll win the election.
So you are going with the number 5?
Yeah, and I'll win it. I'm the next president of Ghana. Nobody can stop it.
How much? In what percentage? Do you
I don't need to.
Elections?
I don't know.
You need 50 plus 1.
No, I don't know the percentage that I will get, but I can tell you I'll win the election.
So you strongly believe you have the numbers to go out there and win an election?
No, just a day. Anything can change.
So come January 7, 2025, we'll see you at the Independence Square?
January
7, 2025.
Maybe
we see you at the Independence Square as president of the country.
Maybe we need to find a bigger space. Because
it's not large enough for you.
Everybody will be so happy to be liberated from the hands of MPP and NDC. So everybody will troop in there. That's what I'm saying, that we need to. Because Ghanaians are going to be liberated. I'll win the elections.
Okay.
Nobody can stop it.
Okay.
No human being on planet Earth can stop it. No evil spirit.
Yeah. Sakwalu, thank you so much. It was very interesting having a conversation.
It's a pleasure having you here.
Great. I've been speaking with the flag bearer of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Apalo, and he's been my guest on Election Desk on GhanaWeb TV. Before we go, don't forget to log on to our website, www.ghanaweb.com, for more news stories. I am Maoli Aholimega. Many thanks for watching.
Kwalebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes. But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@ghanaweb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #Legalize Organ Donation Now. Organ failure should not be a death sentence. It's the campaign trail here on GhanaWeb TV, and today we're taking you on a journey to the Ketu South constituency, a region critical to this particular election. We'll be speaking with some of the constituents. We want to find out from them, are they satisfied with the work of their MP, and who will be their preferred candidate in the next elections? Come with me for more. We are currently at Agbozuma, and then we're going to have a chit chat with the people, or let's say the constituents of Agbozuma, to tell us about the work of their MP. And currently I have Kwame here.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. I think since the inception of the Fourth Republic, this place has been for the NDC, and over the years, as you can see, we have not seen any better development here. You see, our roads are very deplorable. It is just recently that the MC, who is Honorable Lugudo, has tried to facelift the road from here to Kliko. And currently, for about 2 years now, we have been having challenge with water. Our source of pipe-borne water is damaged, and we have expected our MP to play a major role in ensuring that the water supply is restored. But as we speak, we don't have water. We have to buy water from Kliko, and at least every household spends not less than 100 cedis a week on water. When it comes to education, I think we are a bit okay because the schools are well resourced, and the MP has a project that is sanitary pad distribution to girl child in the constituency, and I think that she's doing well with that. But our concern is that she should have an office here where our concerns can be taken to Accra, because she's representing about 200,000 people of Ketu South, and there should be an office for her in the constituency where people can lodge their complaints or their demands to government so that she can take it up to the Parliament of Ghana and push it for us. But that is not happening. So I think we have a lot to do because we have been voting for the NDC, and as a person, I think we should try the MPP this time for the parliamentary because we've had about 8 sections of NDC and we have not seen any proper development. So I think our people should try to give a chance to the MPP parliamentary candidate, Honorable Samuel Doe Halligan, because we need somebody with a critical mind to represent us in the Parliament of Ghana.
Don't you think your MP has that quality?
As you can see, we don't see nothing coming from here. You know, she's not doing what we expect of her to do.
What are some of the things you're expecting from her?
Our roads are not good. We think she should lobby for us. We know she's not for that project, but she can lobby the project for us, and that is not happening. Secondly, our market is also not good. When you enter the market, you see that the shares are very bad, and she's not doing anything about those things. Yeah, and there are a lot of things we can mention that she's not doing. Recently, we had this flood situation, and we expected her to play a major role, but she was not available for us.
Was Agbozuma affected?
Highly affected. The major affected community is Agbozuma and the surrounding communities.
The show is still Campaign Trail, and we're here at Deno in the Ketu constituency. And I have some residents here who will be sharing their thoughts with me in regards to some of the work of their MP, Abla Jifa Gomashi. Please, your name?
My name is Samuel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you satisfied with the work of your MP so far?
Yeah, she is doing well. As I can say, our community is doing well, but just that there are some problems we are facing. So we wish our MP to solve those problems for us. Let's say, example, like our education system, how the children don't like to go to school, how there's no work in the community and we are suffering for those things. We don't have hospitals or let's say clinics in our communities.
There should be a job sector for the youth especially. You know, some of us, we are graduates from SHS, but due to the difficulties in jobs sectors, we are unable to get jobs, and so that is the reason we're riding a car right now. So yes, I think they should do something on that one too. Yes.
Yeah, our roads are not well fixed, so at least let her try to maintain our road, even though to patch it, so that all those our travelers, those are carrying goods from the far away to the community. Like
from Hedronao area to Adafianu, the main road to from let's say from Denu Junction to Keta, this road is very bad.
Nyade, magbere mi adegbama. Na acha 2 cedi komi corner fona jogbona mi avio ono na kakana devi omoton la shio. Wodun di kwa isuku a 15 cedi. Ama evai fifia na moto rogola moto galema afina kondi kobane no ga igbo ga nduge afiza na dota ava webe agba va sesanami fifia wo dagare nwoji alaka gbagbaba nfo flamalio na yashi magba na ve flam 2 cedi a acho na iko ba 5 cedi vola 2 cedi la shi kwaro ko na va no toturo na nwadre ha o ma flamu alaba anwa hoshita ava wo ba agbava sesanami manyanya vikro mi fukpa malaka gbagbaba ina va malajio nya mpia nya bade na nya ba na yide na kpogbobo gble no fa magan woda ngoji poto anwo na bobonami la kporang me boda mi la fia boda acha boda mi da da o premier no vio ina va ko gbate fifia boda o magata na reka omu na yiko ba hafe na dogo ko ba hafe ta o magata yimu vo fi mo ina cha ve kpo na ndudu tami fukpa malaka gbagba tano lankurang nami ango ba shina didi ang flelo ho ba jina jema ndralo ha ba jina jema mi fukpa ajigbo mala fima acha mi drane 50 pesos kaka ajigbo ma dramu le 2 cedi.
I am, but I think there are a lot to be done in the constituency, especially the problem with water. Yes, the whole of Agbozme, we haven't have a drop of water for the past 1.5 to almost 2 years now. And we are struggling with water issues. I think from Kleko, from this side to Klikor, they have water, but within Agbozuma, we don't have water. It has been a challenge. We celebrated Sometutuzan without water. I mean, last year. And this year, we are hoping that there will be water. The MP will do something about it. We confronted the community heads, and we were told they work on it before the next Sometutuzan. So that is what I'm hoping it is done before. The next festival is in September. The launch was done just last week in Ho. Yeah, in Ho. And I think we need water. That's all I can say. We need water. With the MP, she's doing well. Jifagomashi is doing well. She's trying. She's trying. You know, considering Mahama is not in power, we have Kufuor Baumia government in power, but I think she's doing well. Overall, she's trying. But with the water issues, I don't think she's doing enough.
That is the main challenge here in Abuzu.
The main challenge is water. The main challenge, maybe people will not voice out because it is Ketu South. But I have to be frank with you, we need the water issues to be solved. It's almost 2 years now. It's very, very bad. People are not drinking potable water. When you go to the villages, you clearly see people, kids, struggling to get water from mouths before they get to school, which is very, very bad. Yeah, when it rains, you get to see kids getting water from water gathered on the and along the roads. No, it's bad. No, it's bad. Friends coming to visit, they come and then water issues. The pipes and stuff are home, but you can't get water. Yeah, you have to. People pay 60 cedis, 70 cedis to trucks to get the Kufuor gallons, about 10 for 60 cedis. Yeah, it's expensive. So that water, I personally can't use that water for a month. Within a week, that water should finish. So imagine 60 cedis a week in this economy, in this hardship.
What are some of the things you will consider before you vote for the next parliamentary candidate? Either MPP, NDC, or movement?
Okay. Anyway, asking this question, I know what went through your mind is, I mean, NDC stronghold, so definitely the answer is NDC, yes. I may try to consider MPP before, but looking at everything, the loots, like Katashe, what Proye and those things going on. No, NPP is a no. NPP is a no. To me, NPP, I'm just a normal citizen, but I will not choose NPP because choosing NPP means I'm asking them to steal more, to loot more, to chop money more. Sikadie Basa. That's what I'm expecting from. If I should vote for MPP, I'm expecting Sikadie Basa from them. So MPP is a no to me.
You know, kuyo vade. Kuyo vawo. Micheba deviopa jongo ada otoma. Ada maro doma. Kaka mio lopla ukpaje ma mio agbosuma fie. Aje bodre na van mio ha mie vio ka isku dogomo po dora ka harako. Oji ashin dora no. Mia nyɔnua kura mi ni mia si chanvo mi tan kpo ga nyuere ka ko si chami ta banko mi do na gala interest asuna gbo ta na bo mia ga dako ni o ga va mi hia na pepere ngbo oji government ga na mi interest ana didi maga aga no haiba na mi do ma chichireji na va na mi fifi alo le mi do ma a mi kata mi va gakaka mi na ka gomosamu mi fukpan Mia vio dogo sukuru ko le o ma kpo do ple de kayo ga sukwa yi ha o po suku da ha manyu ro yi sukwa san ko ba alaka mu ga ta mi chaka mi nyonwe la ji la o fie mi chaka le mi ro kuma de fifia ba du ya plomo le na ma u va mi ba ma ha ma va o tro adoli anwu na mi ba ji na jam ta mi o changa lo ma ha ma kple ji fa ikwe ga yi gele nya gbonye o kwe ga yi ga Kaka no vade na ma we bo vako na tru na mi nyonwo am ba jina jam.
As we continue our tour of the Ketu South constituency, we will take a closer look at these pressing issues and hear from the Member of Parliament, Abla Jifagomashi, as she shares her effort to address these challenges and her vision for the future of her constituency. I just want to find out, how would you describe your time in Parliament so far?
It's been educative, stressful, fulfilling, and more gratifying as well. First of all, I'm blessed to be the Member of Parliament for the people of Ketu South. If you look at the size of the constituency, and I got picked by the people to represent them, it's a privilege and an honor. It's also been sometimes a bit disappointing. I think that what I thought the work entailed versus what I have to deal with are like day and night. I thought that because I've been doing social work for so long, and as a former deputy minister, I've seen the terrain. I worked with Mrs. Rawlings and the 31st December Women's Movement. I volunteered from before NDC was born, really, from PNDC to date. Being a member of parliament is really not what I imagined. The reality is really scary.
So in this case, how do you ensure that the voices of your constituents are heard in parliament? Because prior to we meeting you, we spoke to some few people, and then they mentioned that they had problems, they had challenges with water. Others were also talking about the roads and adjoining communities, like they want you to pay attention to that. Others were even asking that you should get disciplinarians to discipline the youth because of the way they dress, and they also threw more light. They applauded your work on getting some of them into the bead making and weaving. They were happy with that, and they want you to continue. But in all of these, having all of these problems in one basket, how do you decipher when you get to parliament to make sure that these little ones are met?
Okay, so that's one of the weakest links of the democracy that we have accepted to follow. I do not think that the decentralization of governance exercise has achieved its aim. People still think that because is the member of parliament they vote for, then you should fix roads and provide water and all the social amenities that they need. If we had done a better job of educating people on what our work is, I'm not sure that even basic things like collection of rubbish in communities will be brought to the member of parliament. It will be sent to the municipal assembly. But that's part of the hurdle that we have to cross. So I do a lot of education, really, and redirection. But as you see, I encourage them to write to me. So when I receive the letters, I go through each one of them. So as I've been sitting here waiting for them to come, that's what I've done so far. I need to go through all of this and respond and assign tasks and responsibilities to my staff in the office. And sometimes I need to let them know that this has to go to maybe the Director for Education, maybe it has to go to the Immigration Service or the MCE and so on. So I pick what I can deal with, and what I cannot handle, I send to the right place or direct them to do that. And as the spokesperson for the constituency, I also do file questions to ask what they want to hear, because they are the reason why I'm there, right? Yes. So when they give me issues, I make sure that what I cannot deal with privately, I send it to the floor. Okay. For example, before we rose, I had cause to make a statement on the work of the Immigration Service in my constituency, because I was getting exhausted from having to go and appeal to them all the time. Anytime they have to enforce the law, I think sometimes they do it physically, and also even with their guns. I have a case pending that happened in 2010, for example, where someone was shot, you see, and he went to court, and the court says that you didn't come early. Yes, so that's one of the letters I've just read. The gentleman was also in the office this morning to ask me whether I received the letter. So I'll be pursuing that. And also when I did a statement, it was basically to say that yes, we empower the immigration service to do a task. That does not include brutalizing the constituents. You see, maximum force. What does maximum force mean? Does maximum force mean that you should fire your gun and shoot someone? No. Okay, so I have 2 cases of gunshots. In the execution of your duties, I don't think that we are empowering you to maim people. You know, so those kinds of issues I'll take onto the floor of Parliament. And the ones that like roofing sheets of school building and water and street lights and so on. If there are small things that the fund can deal with, then I take that up.
Okay. Talking about the roofing sheet, I want to find out last but one question. What has been your greatest achievement ever since you came into Parliament?
I think the human capital development that has been my focus is what I'm particularly proud of. That for years I've been going to schools and organizing competitions amongst them and telling them that, look, I came from here and I have 7 years university education up my sleeve. You can do 10 years and 20 years, and with my 3 certificates you can get 5. You can do better than me because someone has done better than me, and it's paying off. So a lot of young people now are going to the university and they write to me asking for support and so on. I do support them to the best of my ability, and also the skills training that I've been doing, because from day one I told the constituency that infrastructure is good, but I want to build the capacity of the human beings that I have. Because of the proximity of the border to us, we are drawn to the border to make money to feed. But you see, there will come a time that that cannot happen, as is the case now. When COVID came, they realized that what I've been telling them is true, because our borders were closed for so long, and there was not one intervention. One. The rice was cooked in some cities. We were not provided with those kinds of interventions, and finally they realized that Mama was right all the time. That yes, the border avails itself for you to make some money, but when it's closed, what will you do? So even people who have higher education, some people do 2-3 jobs. I've done that my whole life, and I was cooking, I was acting, I was producing, I was in school. You can multitask, so when I put the skills training they took it in good faith, and in September we'll be graduating some people. I'm so excited about that. They are ready to write their NVTA exam, and then we will graduate them. So yeah, human capital development is my greatest achievement.
Okay. Finally, do you believe your constituents will retain you as their mama?
Did you not see in the primaries? Did you see the margin between me? Well, I should tell you. Look, if love from Ketu South residents could make me taller, I'll be the giant in this world. I mean, I have so much support from my people, and I'm totally blown away by it. And I know that they'll retain me hands down, as they did with the primaries. The main elections is a given. But I'm not going to just be relaxed about it, because ultimately my party, the NDC, must come back to power. And I'm John Mahama's #1 campaigner in Ketu South. And so I'm moving around and making sure that I remind them of what we gave them versus what they have now. And if Shawa Sitrimna Papa is anything to go by, then the ball is in their court. So that's my job.
In addition to tackling infrastructural and economic challenges, Abla Jifa Gomashi has initiated a youth engagement project in the constituency, focusing on sandal making under the brand name KS Products. This initiative not only equips the youth with valuable skills, but also promotes local entrepreneurship.
So we're still here in Ketu South, and as you can see, this is KS Product. This was made here.
KS product means Ketu South product, and this is Mama's initiative. She's called Mama here, and this is Mama's initiative. Mama, this is beautiful, and it's made right here in your office.
Yes, thank you very much. So I know that my own story has evolved from being a young entrepreneur to becoming a politician, and I became an entrepreneur because I didn't have access to money, and I had to find ways to do it. I braided hair, I sold food.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. And I realized that there are young people with a lot of talent. I cannot employ them in the police service, the army, and so on, because, of course, you have to apply, and if they pick you, they pick you. So I figured that I must buy into the idea that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama put in the manifesto in 2020, which was to teach skills development. So I taught soap making, beads making, cake baking, makeup, phone repair, ICT, hairdressing, sewing, and so on. And we added shoemaking. And I'm so proud of my boys and girls. And they made these. Thankfully, I found this young man, Emmanuel. Emmanuel here came to introduce himself to me that he makes shoes, and if I can buy the machine, he will teach for free. And I said, good. So I gave them money to go and buy the machine. And then they went and found the thing to do the labels. And I'm so excited. So now we have KS products, which is Ketu South products.
So like the way we have the Zara, the Adidas, now we also have KS products.
That's right. And my colleague members of parliament, I'm bringing them for you to buy. 274 of you, minus me. And Mr. Speaker will donate to him. And maybe we'll donate one to the clerk of parliament. But the rest of you have to buy to invest in my people. No, but seriously, if I see the creativity of those who came to learn and the kinds of design that they themselves came up with, I'm truly, truly, truly inspired to do more. If you have, you import the shoemaking machine, you may donate one to us as well.
It's important. It's important. We need to help our own. Because we can't keep importing.
No, and the machine is expensive, so I know that they cannot afford it. So if we get people to donate the machines to us, I'm sure they can produce and sell. They can pay something for the machine so we can maintain it, and then they can keep the profit. So maybe we divide it into 3 parts. Yeah. And we, the teachers, can keep one. They can keep one. And then we use the other third part to buy the materials. See? So that it's recycled, and we can all get on with producing this on a large scale for we started with Ketu South, but we expect that we can go and sell in the markets in the region, you know. We still practice this 4 days market system. Okay. So like today can be Aplau market day, tomorrow will be Kata market day, and then the next day will be Agbozumo market day, and then the new market day. So they can go around the markets and be selling them and make something for themselves. Plus the fact is, you can start as a shoemaker and end up as the president of this republic. I started as a child dancer, an actress, a producer, name it, all of that. And today I'm the member of parliament, sitting in parliament on behalf of the blessed people of Ketu South. So don't think that anything is too small or below you. Use it as a launching pad to leap forward and become whatever you want to be.
As we've seen and heard in Ketu South, the challenges are real and the voices are loud. Deplorable roads, water shortages, and the weight of economic hardship continue to affect the daily lives of constituents, not forgetting unemployment. The call for change is clear. Stay with us as we continue to bring you more stories from the field, highlighting the concerns of communities across the country on our show, The Campaign Trail.
Kwalebu was, I think, 380.
380 Ghana cedis.
Yes. But private, some are 500, 450, some are 800, 860.
Per session,
yes.
You have to do 2 every
week.
Yeah.
Even if someone earns 5,000 Ghana cedis every month, that person cannot keep paying 380 cedis 3 times a week for dialysis.
Majority of the people who need dialysis to survive in Ghana don't even earn half of the amount mentioned.
Some people battling organ diseases end up losing their jobs because their companies cannot keep paying them for always being absent.
How are these people expected to afford the monies needed for dialysis as well as other expenses, talk less of the huge amounts they have to come up with for transplantation surgeries outside Ghana when they get donors?
It is because of these people that GhanaWeb in August 2023 launched the organ donation legislation campaign to push for the country to pass a law that will guide organ harvesting and transplanting.
As Kolebu plans to increase dialysis fees, the situation requires quicker attention and action.
And so, we must get Parliament to start discussing the organ donation bill and pass it into law.
Now, when this bill is passed, more lives will be saved and the financial burden on patients would be reduced.
And that is why we need you to join us on this campaign. Join the campaign by sending a 1-minute video of yourself sharing why Ghana needs a legislation on organ donation now to editor@ghanaweb.com or via WhatsApp 0552 699 625. Alternatively, you can share the video directly on your social media handles with the hashtags #PassOrganDonationLaw and #LegalizeOrganDonationNow. Organ failure should not be a death sentence.
Sex is a beautiful thing.
I know, right?
Sex lowers your blood pressure.
Sex lowers your blood pressure.
Yes, it does.
What makes it healthy?
For every round of sex, you burn 250 calories. Sex is the best stress reducer ever, but for the male and the female gender, yes.
Right there.
We begin 2024 with our first episode of Moons and Cuddles, and today we're discussing the health benefits of sex. I believe it's a subject you'll be interested in because, as usual, should I say, apart from children, I believe everyone else is having sex, and we want to look at the health benefits. And today I have with me the beautiful, ever-blooming sex and family therapist, Princessa
Agri.
Princessa Agri is my guest today on the Moons and Cuddles. Welcome, Princessa.
Thank you, darling.
And my name remains Patricia Roxanne Hammond. The health benefits of sex. Please educate us, because I know sex is one difficult topic to talk about, because I believe it's all because of our upbringing. It's something we hardly talk about, but it's something that when we start discussing it, talking about the benefit, talking about the do's and don'ts, it's going to help a lot of homes. For those believing God for pregnancy and families, those going through trauma, and you know it all. Please help us.
Thank
the
you for
health
having
benefits of
me.
sex. So we'll have to do both the men and then the women.
Okay, I think I would just maybe put them a little bit in a box and then I'll start separating
Sure.
them. Sex is a beautiful thing.
I know, right?
Especially in the confines of marriage. Yes, because why I say it's a beautiful thing in the confines of marriage, because you won't have to be thinking too many things. What are we? Who are we? Who are us? You know, after the whole thing. But The beautiful thing of sex is that it comes with its own benefits. It's not just for us to multiply and replenish the earth and blow it off to 9 billion people if we are not already up to 9 billion. But it's also very, very healthy to have sex.
What makes it healthy?
First and foremost, sex lowers your blood pressure.
Sex lowers your blood pressure?
Yes, it does, because when you have sex and then you have sweet sex, not forceful sex, please, which is rape, you have sex with your partner or your spouse, then you get to orgasm. Do you know what it does? It releases a lot of oxytocin and dopamine into your system that if your blood pressure was skyrocketing, it will just bring it down, because you have all these happiness hormones being released into you. And
that is after sex?
Yes, and then it lowers your blood pressure.
Did you hear that? Sex lowers blood pressure.
Yes, and it also helps in combating heart disease. Like, yes, because imagine you're having a tight artery. Your heart is going to pump twice the time to pump more blood into your body, because your genitals need blood to function, especially when you are aroused. Is blood going very quickly from your heart down to your genitals.
Okay.
So it's going to expand your blood vessels and pump blood. So you see, it reduces the risk of heart disease. That's another benefit of having sex. That's another health benefit of having sex. And it also boosts your immune system. It does boost your immune system.
So it lowers blood pressure, it helps with cardiovascular diseases, and then it boosts your immune system. So you don't have to rely on the vitamins.
Do you know what sex does?
Tell me.
For every round of sex, you burn 250 calories. Yes.
Okay. For both the men and the women?
Both the men and the women.
Because it's mostly, let's say it's sometimes 60% the men in action.
If I feel sex should be mutual.
Okay.
You don't just have to let it be for you alone. Well, you have to put the woman into the mood. You have to depend on foreplay. You have to boost her sexiness even before the main thing. I think that's where men get it wrong a lot of times.
Okay.
You will not mind the woman throughout the day. And then in the night, you want to have something very wet and sweet down there. You won't have it. You're going to have a cranky woman when you just come. Your mind is your biggest sex organ. Sex happens in the mind.
Yeah.
First. If it doesn't work in the mind, the other part is just for show, right? So if you want to make this woman very relaxed, both of you are off maybe minding your own businesses that you came to do. You send, hello, hi, sexy, how are you? I can't believe I married such a beautiful woman. Maybe if she has lovely lips like you do, your husband can say, oh, you have beautiful lips. I can't wait to kiss it. Hey, she will apply the lip gloss or the lipstick more, you know. Or I can't just wait to touch the softness of your body. You telling a woman that alone will boost her self-esteem.
And it sends the message right there.
Yes. And she's ready. And she'll be like, really, my skin is soft. Maybe she was thinking her skin was dry and stuff. My husband says my skin is soft. And then you find out that she comes back home, she goes into the bathroom, she scrubs, she applies a lotion. Oh, yeah, I have a soft skin.
Yeah.
She'll be making her own TV advert in front of the mirror. That's another health benefit. You've boosted someone's self-esteem. The same thing with the man too. The woman sends him compliments. God, you're the best thing that has ever happened to me. I just can't wait to ride you. And for the men, if they read that, they might have instant erection. So yeah, because of how they are
Sending
wired.
the positive compliments
Yes.
and all that. Even if it's not true, at least try and create something
You
just
see
to
him,
make the person.
His shoulder pads
Yeah.
will go high. In his head, he'll be singing, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh.
That's nice.
And then you compliment the man. You compliment him and say, oh, I can't wait for you to kiss me. You kiss me so good. I tell you, he will go, if he's in the office, he will go buy a toothbrush to brush his teeth before he comes home. So he could kiss you from the door, or he's going to throw mints into his mouth to kiss you from the door.
And I believe that rings in the mind the whole day, like wanting to get home to meet your partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then other health benefit of sex is especially during menses. And a lot of us, we shy away from menstrual sex. No, we've heard it's unclean, it's dirty. Come on. Menses is not dirty. Menses is your life force.
You know, there's this thing like okay, so I'm still going to list what you mentioned. Healthy sex lowers blood pressure. Healthy sex helps with cardiovascular diseases. Healthy sex boosts your immune system. And the fourth one is healthy sex. The pressure, period pains.
Yes.
It helps with period pains.
Yes, with period pains.
But with the periods, it helps with the cramps. Whilst you are on your floor. Because I'm wondering, you're in pain, the blood is flowing, you wet the whole place with blood, like sting the whole place with blood. How does it help? I'm looking at the whole scenario. Yeah.
Okay, this is it. If both of you are comfortable with each other, I will recommend having period sex under the shower. If you're scared of seeing blood.
Having period sex under the shower.
Yes.
So whilst you're having sex, the shower must be on to be washing away the blood.
Yes.
Okay.
You have that. And then another thing again is that if you really want to enjoy period sex, don't have it on the first and the second day. It should be on the third and the fourth day.
Okay.
That's why you enjoy it. Because when you take your bath, the period won't come.
It doesn't come immediately. Yeah.
And then you could have sex and it will
reduce
the cramps
that
you have. And man, you have free lubrication there. And some women actually get pregnant during those times, because most of them, their body, some women are ovulating while they're seeing their period.
Okay, so the ovulation doesn't happen the 14th day prior to the period. Whilst you're in the period, that is when ovulate. No, or maybe ovulation happens few days to the period.
Few days to the, just like maybe a day after the period, or it's just coming down a day after. So most of the time, I've had cases where the people didn't have a child for some years, but when they tried period sex, they got pregnant, and they got to find out that they have to have sex during the third and the fourth day of seeing their menses, of their flow. That was when they got pregnant. So
it's also okay. So it's
I know if some people were like, no, go ask your medical professionals. Yes, they will tell you.
Because I'm hearing this for the first time.
Oh, it does.
Period sex can help you conceive quickly if you're believing like for so many years and there's nothing happening.
So try period sex.
Try period sex if you're believing to conceive and nothing is happening. So just try period sex according to Madam Princess Agri. She's a family and a sex therapist. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Me too. I don't get tired talking about sex.
I told you. See, it's what you don't get tired.
I don't get tired talking about sex. I don't get tired. Another health benefit of sex is that when we talk about health benefit of sex, please, both of you have to be STI, STD free. Right? If not, you just be exchanging.
Reinfecting each other.
Yes, doubling each other's viral load. No, you're infecting each other. So the thing is, both of you have to be healthy sexually to have it. And then, health benefit of sex is this: it gives you beautiful skin.
That is why we normally say women are glowing after sex.
Of course. You have good orgasms, you just be glowing. Your collagen is released into your system. Don't you know that? Haven't you maybe messed up? Maybe when you were in secondary school, you have this teacher that was unmarried and she was the crankiest of them all. What do you students used to say then?
She's having a lot of sex.
No, she's not having sex. That's why she's cranky.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the teacher is unmarried, maybe.
And then others will even say, I think this woman needs sex.
Yes.
When she gets someone to lay hair, she'll come back to normal. And the days you see her all smiley all over the place, something happened last night.
Yes. So another health benefit of sex is that it helps with your skin. It makes you glow.
It makes you glow. What about the man?
The same thing with the man. The same thing with the man.
Okay, it's mostly with the women that we say, oh, you're glowing. You're glowing.
Look at the man. If a man is having good sex, I can tell.
Oh, okay.
I can tell when a man is having good sex. I can tell. It shows in their skin. It shows in the spring of their walk. It shows in the way they smile.
Does lots of sex make you put on
weight?
Yes.
No, it
makes you gain weight, or it makes you
only make you gain weight in your hips. If you're a lady, that's when it will be visible. And for the ladies, maybe if you don't have money to go to the gym, or you're lazy about the gym, your man is your gym. Please get on the gym machine. And
so is it that you have to rather be on top?
Yes, you have to be on top and practice your squats.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it helps. It helps when you have sex. Like maybe you have sex like 5 times a week.
5 times.
Didn't you see that man that said men should have sex 21 times a month? So come on, Trisha.
5 times. Okay, 5 times a week.
Okay, let's say 3 times a week.
It's possible. I thought of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but anyway.
No, let's put it to 3 times a week. Sunday morning sex is very, very interesting. Of course. Leave first service for single people. Service for single people. You that is married. Sunday morning sex. You know, the children tend to sleep longer on Sunday morning.
Yes.
Oh, when the man erection is there, you could climb it. And then if your wife is just sleeping butt naked, and then you run your hand under there, you see it's dripping wet. It's always dripping wet in the mornings. And then, come on, Sunday morning is a fellowship. Sex is a devotion, I will always say.
Okay. We'll have to go on break. Sex is a devotion. Early Sunday morning sex.
On SMS.
For short, SMS. I believe you enjoyed this conversation. And today is... okay, let me just leave the day out. But just have that in mind. If you didn't hear anything, know that Sunday sex as SMS is also very important. Sex makes you glow, both the men and the women. Sex helps you with cardiovascular diseases. Healthy sex boosts your immune system and then lowers blood pressure. We'll be right back after this break.
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment.
Wow.
Enjoy the tasty McBerry Twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk.
Yummy.
Oh, McBerry Twist cupcakes, simply irresistible. Try one today.
This advert is FDA approved.
Esther Mons and Cuddles here on GhanaWeb TV with me, Patricia Roxanne Hammond. Today we're discussing the health benefits of sex. And my guest has been Madame Princessa Agri. She's a family and sex therapist. Before we went on break, she told me about the fact that healthy sex helps lowers blood pressure. That's high blood pressure. It helps with your cardiovascular diseases. Period pains also helps reduce the cramps. And those who are believing to conceive and there is nothing happening, you should try having sex in between periods because it helps a lot. And in as much as it will help you conceive quickly, it can also reduce the cramps you're going through. Yeah. And it's good to compliment. You need to compliment your partner. Before you initiate anything, try and then compliment your partner. Like say nice things to them before you start, because that alone releases a lot of happiness hormones, as she said. It releases lots of happiness hormones. And then it makes the women glow and makes the men also glow. It gives you beautiful skin. We are continuing the conversation, and I believe you are getting educated and enjoying it. Health benefits of sex.
Yes. Oh,
So we continue.
The way you look at me like, how benefit of sex? Okay, so what do you have in your box?
I want to know all because it's something we hardly talk about.
Okay, if someone is having insomnia or sleep disorders,
it happens a lot.
A good sex helps you sleep.
Okay.
Yes, and make sure it's not just sex. Get to orgasms. You will sleep off. Yeah.
Orgasm for the woman and then ejaculation for the man.
Men too have orgasms. There's a difference between orgasms and ejaculation.
Tell
Most
me.
most men think they've had orgasms, but what they've had is ejaculation.
So what happens when they have orgasm? How does it?
If they have orgasms, sometimes they might not ejaculate, but they go through the
satisfaction.
They go through this experience. Men, toe coiling orgasms from the crown of their head down to their feet. They could feel that sensations all over their body. Yes.
Without ejaculating?
Yes,
I thought because they make it look like ejaculation is like the helm of everything.
No, ejaculation is not the helm of everything. Like in my master classes, I show men how they could have full body orgasms. Yes, most women just have clitoral orgasms.
Yeah.
But they don't have the full body orgasms.
So can we dissect this? I want to understand like the orgasm for the male and then the female, like the full body orgasm. What is that?
A male can have orgasms once and then it's okay. But a woman can keep having orgasms even after the sex.
Okay.
Yes. So if orgasms, I don't know how, orgasms is experience. There's this knowing, that, there's this satisfaction in you. You feel it. This neurotransmitters are being released.
We have provided an avenue for persons to check on their Android phones without the use of internet. So I think if anything at all, you should really embrace what we are doing because we've tried to be inclusive and to ensure that nobody is left behind. Thank you.
Just to add briefly to the applauding of the commission, I think it's also important for us to state that when you look at registration of voters in our part of the world, in West Africa, Ghana is the only country that has been able to ensure that almost everyone who is qualified is on the roll. When you look at the data from the Statistical Service, almost 97% of the people who are eligible in Ghana are on the voters register. The Ghana Statistical Service will tell you that 2024 Ghanaians who must be 18, almost 19,300,000. And on our register, we have 18.7. That's almost 90% of those who are eligible. And when you look at their own data, Ghana's population, almost 56% of the population are on the voters register. And when you look at our sub-region, the only country that is doing 55% is Kevet. And Kevet's population is almost 500,000. It's less than 600,000. So clearly there is something Ghana's Electoral Commission is doing. So we expect that the applause will be more. That doesn't suggest that if there are problems, we shouldn't talk about. As the chair said, this is not the exhibition we are doing. The exhibition has been done. But just to ensure that we wrap up everything, ensure a very credible system, the commission is doing that. We recognize that in some places, internet access is a problem. That's why we have 5 days. People can reach out to their friends to do the check-in for them. And as we have maintained, within the 5 days, if there are concerns, report to our offices. But after the 5 days, you will not have that opportunity to do so again. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon once again. Just to quickly address the issues that were raised by Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. The first one had to do with the figures. As we all recall, 2 weeks ago, we did state for everybody's hearing that the figures that we had there were provisional and there was still work in progress to clean up the register. We also did mention to you that there were issues that were coming up from the districts. The RRO was yet to sit, and therefore when they sit, it was pretty obvious that those numbers will change. And that is why the word provisional being used is key. So you do not expect that if it's a process that is ongoing and is being reviewed, the numbers will remain static. Indeed, until the final register is certified, those figures can change. DRRO sat and DRRO took certain decisions. DRRO said, take certain people off the register, or some people who appealed came. So there were movements. All the lists got affected. Exceptions list got affected. Multiples lists got affected. Valid motor list got affected. Even missing list got affected because the numbers have changed. So please let us not make it seem as if the numbers will be static for so long as it remains provisional. And even this exercise we are doing now, up until the 19th of October, where we have given you the opportunity to come and make changes or to raise issues, those numbers will change. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't use the numbers that we have now for planning purposes. We would. Otherwise, would we wait for everything to be done before we do it? Is that what we are saying? That is why enough buffer has been put into it. 2% has been added to allow for these changes that we anticipate will happen. Okay, so that is the explanation for it. And Dr. Tanko, please, as at 2020, when this register was created, I can tell you the statistics that we have for multiples and exceptions. So at the end of 2020 in November, the total number of people who were on the exceptions list was 13,997. As at 2020, when we finished that register. Okay? So it's not as if that number came out of the blue. Then you had multiples. Multiples was 15,860. Since then, we've had several iterations of registrations. And every time you have a registration, there's a propensity for somebody to be put on the exceptions list or on the multiples list. So that figure changes. And indeed, every time we go for adjudication committee meetings, the figures that we have are the numbers for that particular registration, and they end up being added to the total. So let us not make it seem as if when we go and sit at adjudication committee, the numbers that we have are the actual numbers. They go and they add up to it. So please, I think that we need to, yes. And multiples list, like we've said, it's not up to us. We don't determine who goes onto the multiples list. If a registration is done and your fingerprints match, you will be put on the multiples list. Where the system is not able to clearly determine whether you have done multiples or not, it comes to adjudication committee, and that's where we meet. And we decide. And everybody is involved in that decision-making process. So let's not confuse the numbers. Okay? About a single entry. Yes, it was designed for single entry in terms of for individual voters. It wasn't designed for people to mass check people's IDs. Okay? When we do exhibitions, assuming we're doing exhibition in person, you don't go to your exhibition center and say, I want to know if XYZ is in the register. You don't do that. So why do you want that to be done in the electronic version? In any case, you have soft copies of the register. If you want to do your independent checks, you can do it. Nothing stops you from doing it. Right? But an API that allows you to check other people's details on a mass level will not be provided. So please, it won't happen. Use your means that you have to get the data that you require. Liveliness check has been implemented like we said the last time. So for your verification devices, you will have the liveliness check in there. I have received your 3 ID numbers that you sent to Mr. Banabio. I will look into it right now and I'll give you a response. But I want to understand what the complaint is. That the ID numbers that you gave belong to different people? Is that what you are saying? Okay. So we'll check. Against, I think you've sent the IDs to Mr. Banabio and we'll check. I'm sure by the time you go around, I'll have an answer for you. Okay. Yes, go ahead. The most important thing, first and foremost, is that the main identifier in the voter register is your ID. And there's only a unique ID. One person can have only one unique ID. Yes, so we will check and see if it is what it is. Remember, and I don't want to preempt it, but remember that we've had history of duplicating IDs that were replaced. So I don't know what you have and where you got that data from, but you need to understand it into context. Because if that card that you have has been replaced, then you are holding a card and you are making judgment on a card that is not right. But we will check. We will check. I just want to preempt this. That's why I said I don't want to preempt it, but I am telling you that is what might happen. But we will check.
Thank you, Doc. We'll continue with this second round of questions. Madam Ikuadonko, it's now your turn. Please, you have the mic. Please kindly help her with the mic.
Yeah, no. But my child, your friend Ikuadonko. Me na me te party a Ghana Freedom Party. Yeah, mammy. Me ba no aye mammy no. Je mensa. We are there. And that day me gina ha me bo abaso. Abotra wo sanya wo si ye wadwuma. Sade wadwuma ho tie. And na me firi nya me mo bo abaso. Empre wo ha me bo abaso. What did no kura nso say wo si e ba obema ye. Abato no ho krata. And that's waka. Ente no so me hu so adi uboshe so. Me da se pa. O manfo de me ka kire woni. Media fo a mo ha. Emre nyina mutimi ka say. Mo hunu ma bedi akire. Me pa cha osore. Ma bedi akire ne Roman father wo atenka. Wono ana sa wo lumba. Enti wono ne ma bedi akire. Die di ka me fa bedi akire ye rakabre. Mene na court 2020. Me hunu de ye me hunu de for kan sam go na so. De me hunu aso wo party foforo ho. Me mbodini. And so me se me say to for be konti. No an ma fente ni ma fa. Roman father. Nti na se munni mo no a. Mumu sa me bio na me hu abeti akire me hu abeti akire say to for. Munua no a. Mo amunua. Ono ote ho. The American ceremony party no amete party no 2011 ana ye register me 2012 me angasa na mete party no me fa man ko obi party mo man ko je obi party anka me de ho me ana mete party na sanye register me Dr. Frejan efenso na mete party no and some no me kasa me kan bebra ebe ha me ma Yes, it didn't penny for what I said. And some of it in a bonte. A fat Yamahama home come and penny if you say, you know what film. They say, well, no, I woke up over a penny over a bed, and I said, you may be more. And I said, oh, sack of to me for that. What do you do at all? To me, was what they did at all. And to make a castle my penny, dada. The American. A man now, Cassa, no cassette, yammy. Say, a banner at 2 no, or banner ye no can be. Your Mahama can be say, and say, Guy may a famine. Now, may baby no me you woman. I ban say, I using penny force the by say, will be quite church, you know. I won't crow in our crata so. Our crata so. Mutiame, Moka Salmi a D. Enter catch them. Using my and crata from so I can say 9. Young Quankura, a war sacrat and so. Young was inside. Where the above Mokran say, or your best sign. One fat in the fear no ma. No one found 94 no ma. Ninaka home. May minimum woman no more can, minimum woman. That's what Timmy Aquaside. Timmy Aquaside, I did one more side be added for if you are no money for no maguso. Woman at me, Nasa what ya? Nasa also in the moment. What for computer at now? Now I watch your train out there better anymore. If you didn't, and don't me make I say, and all the family a yaw. We are what you may ya, my man one time of ya. Or a doma, the Juma way, or a doman in Crawford. And this all the cancer answer which them here. May catch them one there. A man penny do my hamano. Was so a man penna, but the little court. But the little court, me patch, Jimmy. But the little court. Me go soon or too busy. Trini me no. Trini me no the magic of Mahama. Some tea party no one mam's catty yana. No minimum. I am not to say. Any quasi a family. Now, me any partner, and I said me free Ghana. Mamma Matia said the little court you seen in penny for. Mamma Modetta. So I check. Me a differ. And I'm free Ghana. And to do a kind of side, I will run on power chow. Me run patch out. Oh, how my money now. If I told you, your Mahama may say. So I see me. Nipa no kasa say ya no nyina mote say nipa bi wo ho a ense sanke ya ma ye ba ahakora wo ba kire me de kokot wo ba kire so anti mi ambodi ne dia wo ba kire na me de kokot no so am na ati ase boya dai me ka kire mo me say ne kwato no wo no ne ho enkam a oni me ba dia kire ni ana ono so na ba dia mampa enemies na be dia kire no me see peace minimum in America me so no ade quarter bes it is one farm ba so one farm ba me dey kwakot me anga say dey kwakot aya na we yasa me say dey kwakot me tie dey mo ka dia me tie dey
Your leader called for it. Your leader called for it, and we will give it to him. We think we are
please. Now we have LPG. Sorry, LPG. LPG. Have you? Yeah, I don't want to smoke.
We need to continue to applaud the EC for the job that they are doing. They are doing well. Last time we were here, they promised that in 2 weeks they are going to give us another provisional register. And this time, I thought the EC were going to ask us to bring our own hard drive. But this time they provided us free hard drive. Yes, you've done EC. And then, EC, you are doing well. You are doing well. Keep on. This year, when we were filing the nomination, EC were working even at midnight, 12 a.m. on Wednesday, before I think the 14th, yeah, if I'm right. They called us to do some amendments on our form because they spotted some errors on it. One of them was the expiration of my tax grant certificate. They spotted it. They said it was 2 days old. It has expired 2 days earlier. So I had to go for a new one. I acted on it the same day I got a new one to replace it. My own organizer at Adan East disappointed me. He signed for me and he went to sign for GUM. They spotted it. They told us to do that correction. We did it. So if anybody sits somewhere who has never filled a form before, can easily tell the whole world that the EC is biased or being discriminatory. 2012, I was disqualified. 2016, they disqualified me again. Nobody called me to empathize with me or whatever. Sympathize or whatever the word is. You can take it anyway. 2024, EC is still disqualifying people who could not fill their forms properly. Kofi Apalo was disqualified by saying that the EC is favoring some people. It's not true. All the 13 candidates are qualified and well qualified and worthy to be on the ballot. Sometimes they tell Mami Akua didn't go to school, so he doesn't qualify to be there. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says that if you are not somebody who can write or who can read or can speak good English, you may have people prevent anybody from. I'm a Votarian. I'm also an Ashanti. I did not choose to be that. But God said, that's how I've made you. So if you are lucky and you're coming from a rich home, you shouldn't look down on some of us who are coming from poor homes by sitting on your comfort zone. Somebody who has never filled a form before, because you were lucky to be the largest political opposition party as their head. So you sit comfortably somewhere, they fill the form, they bring it to you, and then you sign without knowing how it was done. So you just speak anyhow to anybody. We are not going to tolerate that. Anybody on the list is nobody. And he can never be anybody. He was just lucky. He was just lucky to be the leader of the.
Please, LPG, I think you've made your point. Please.
Yeah.
LPG.
I want everybody to know in this world.
Please.
That he will lose and continue to lose and lose forever.
Please. LPG. Goom, can you take the mic? No, Goom, then we come to MPP, please. Dr. Tanko. No, Jerry, please give the mic to Goom. No, please give it to
You gave NDC the opportunity for them both to speak. Why are you denying me? If I have something to say, are you telling me because
Mr. Jerry,
please take your seat.
Mr. Jerry,
go to Goom, and then we'll come back. Please give it to Goom.
Can I just want to follow up on what we just discussed? So I have checked the details that have been submitted, and once again I want to emphasize that when we make sweeping allegations, it must be based on sound data. Okay? And that's why I said that I will check. So, as I've said, the individuals that you say you are getting different results from, they are all individuals that are in the system with different voter IDs. And as I have said, there was a case, and this was even in 2020, where we had duplicating IDs. And so all those people who had duplicating IDs had their IDs replaced, and new ones were printed for them and were actually sent to the various exhibition centers to be replaced. And all the IDs you've sent, I have their pictures and their new IDs. So when we make certain allegations and aspersions, please let us. So please, let's not. If there's an issue, I don't think I want you to do that. The point I'm making is that in the voter register, there's one ID per person. You can't have two people with the same ID. And we recognize that in 2020, because of the offline registration and some machines issuing the same IDs, there were some duplicating IDs. All those who were affected had their IDs replaced. And unfortunately, that is what you have that you are showing to us. So please, let's understand the system. That is why we took pains to explain how the system works and how we arrive at a voter ID. Let us understand how it works. And if there are real issues, let's bring them up to us for discussion. Thank you. You still want me to? Should I show?
Okay, sorry. Goom, can you ask your question?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Frank Owusu Frempong, the National Communication Director for Ghana Union Movement. I bring you greetings from the incoming President, Reverend Dr. Christian Kwabena Andrews, also known as Chirabosu. Monishment. Though GHUM is relatively young in active Ghanaian politics, we've been in the raising. I tend to ask, where were those questions 3 years ago? Knowing definitely elections were due, it would have been raised and corrected before this time. Now, going on to my submission, my representation of GHUM has always been that our engagement as IPAC with the Commission, on electoral reforms and processes should be such that we equally and fairly contribute to arrive at the consensus decision making for implementation. I remember early this year when our brothers returned from their self-imposed recess. I said this, that we equally and fairly need to contribute to the electoral process and reforms so that at the end of the day, with special emphasis on elections, like the one ahead of us in December, we can all again fairly and equally share the glory or shame together. After the implementation, to whoever we think might have done us a disservice, in this case, be pointing fingers at the Electoral Commission. But this is not the situation at the moment. Going forward, are we projecting a no confidence in the referee to officiate the match ahead? Of us? Just look at what has gone on. The banter, the accusations and counter-accusations. If we should take this thing out there, what do you think is going to be the end result? Please, I'm pleading on behalf of all of us that we need Ghana at one piece. We need Ghana for all of us as Ghanaians. So if we feel, well, just like Reverend Ofori was making mention of, no, please, allow it. He explained that the voter IDs that our brothers showed is not us they are putting it. We shouldn't go out there and misinform the people. It will be in a jurisdiction to do that. Yes. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't go out there and misinform people. If it's out there, we are here to correct. That's why we are here. No. That is why we are here. If it has gone out there already as a misinformation, someone is there trying to prompt them that it is not a misinformation. We can't allow that to happen. At the end of the day, it must be Ghana for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before the MPP take, yes, I'll come to you. Before the MPP speaks, I would like to say that the Commission does not, IPAC is a serious platform for political party electoral commission engagement. And therefore, the Commission will not support those kind of exchanges. On that note, I would like to cede the mic to MPP, Mr. Mike Menu.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Good afternoon, and I stand on existing protocols. And thank you for the opportunity given us at this second IPAC to throw and shed more light on the voters' register. I want to use this opportunity to make certain points clear. There's been some wide speculations going around, especially from some political parties, that the New Patriotic Party is in cahoots, in partnership with the Electoral Commission. And today we have seen some rare is ugly head here. The thing is that when matters arise and we see that they are not correct, they are disinformation and misinformation, we are bound to throw light on the true facts as it exists. Today, members of the NDC sought to draw our attention to the fact that exhibitions should be done as on regulation 23(1) of the CI 91. But the same CI 91 regulation 23 sub 3 says the commission shall, in addition to the publication provided in regulation 1, post the provisional register on the website of the commission. So if we come to say this, and you take it to mean that we are in cahoots or we are in partnership or in bed with the Electoral Commission, we are rather in bed with the law. So MPP is always in bed with the law, not with the Electoral Commission. And we will always be by the side of the law, because you quoted 23(1) and left 23(3), which says the register, the publication can also be done on the website. And when the director of IT was doing his presentation, he went to the website and pulled out his own details on the register. And I went on it and I pulled it, and it's in the law. So we are on the side of the law. So people should stop saying and peddling around that MPP is in cahoot, is in partnership with the Electoral Commission. No, we are in partnership with the law. And I think this should be made clear. So if you seek to put out disinformation, misinformation, and sometimes hate speech, we are bound to put the correct perspective to the public and the media at large. It does not mean that we are in cahoot or we are in a partnership with the Electoral Commission. No, we are in partnership with the law. And these laws were made by a Parliament of Ghana, and we respect it, and we will always quote it in its entirety. We will not quote sections and leave sections aside. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jerry, you speak, hello. But...
Hello. Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Evans, please kindly take your seat. Dr. Uforiaje will address some of the issues. He wants to display some of the findings.
Good afternoon once again. So this is just, for transparency for us to all understand what I was talking about. So the question of whether we are retaining wrong details of individuals has been made by the National Democratic Congress, and they gave some details. So the voter card was given, and then it was sent to Mr. Banobio. Mr. Banobio sent it to me. And just a second, let me take this off so that we can all see. So this is the card that was given to Mr. Banobio as having retained details of another individual. And then the voter ID card was given. Indeed, if you look at it and you check from the system, another person's details come, right? But this particular individual is in our register, but it's in our register with a different voter ID. If you look at the picture before and now, you see that the details are all the same. This is the same picture that the person has on their card. This is what we have in our database. Okay, so this individual, like I said, was registered in 2020 and was among the batch of the people who had duplicating IDs, and therefore new IDs were issued for them, and they were printed out and sent to the district offices, and indeed even to sometimes to the polling stations for them to come and pick up. So it's not that we are retaining wrong details of individuals, but that the person had the voter ID card replaced, and therefore we need to go and find out where this card is coming from, because the ID cards have been replaced. Same with the second number, the second card that was given. This card too had for this particular female. This female exists in our system with a different voter ID card, right? But if you look at the details are all the same. Even the picture that they took is the same picture, same person. So like I said, even though I didn't want to hazard a guess then as to this is what had happened, this indeed is what happened. Same with the other one that was given, the third voter ID card that was supplied by Yayura, and same picture, same details, different voter ID card. So you see, that's why once again I said, let's not make allegations and aspersions based on information that we are not sure of, because then it creates unnecessary problems. But these are details. These are details. Let me finish, please. Dr. Rashid Tango, let me finish.
And we are saying that use your short code, put the voter ID number on, and see whether you see what you are seeing.
Yes.
See what you are seeing.
What you see, but that's what you are saying, that
the person has not received it. You will be using this one.
Yes.
And you will get different data.
Dr. Tanku, so we've explained to you. What we are saying is that since some of these issues arise, do not jump to conclusions, especially when there's a history to this. And we know that cards have been replaced. We know cards have been replaced. And we've taken a time and effort to explain to you how the system works. We've also taken the time to show you the issues that we had and how they were resolved. So please, let's proceed in that vein and understand that the system that has been built is one person, one set of biometric IDs, one person, one voter ID. No single person can have two voter IDs in the system. And if we work with that premise, we will understand where some of these issues are coming from. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. We go back. Yes, I'll go this way. Jerry, PPP. Right. Jerry, PPP, then we go to MPP. Mr. Sion, I'll come to you. Make sure that, is it on? It should be on.
I think it's on now. Doc, God bless you. And thank you once again for telling the good people of Ghana the truth. Thank you for exposing my good brother and his friend. Electoral Commission, I don't think has any interest for promoting a winner or for supporting a candidate to win an election before an election. This is the only commission that we are having. And this commission is the only commission that is going to pronounce the winner of the election. Why are we trying to destroy or tarnish their image and hard-earned reputation? Because you know you are losing an election. Because you know you cannot win an election. Why?
Jerry, please to your point so that we can wind up.
It's okay.
Thank you, Jerry. We give it to Mr. Sion, PPP, and then we end up with MPP.
Well, thank you. My name is not Sion.
Oh.
Kofi Sion is our presidential candidate who has been unfairly disqualified. And I believe the matters will be corrected in the right forum. But that is not why I'm here. My name is Richard Ama, for the record. Yes, I'm the executive director of the PPP. I have two questions. The first one has to do with, all of them are going to Dr. Ofori. In your presentation, I didn't seem to get clearly the procedure to complain if you realize that your details are wrong after querying the system through the methods that you gave. You gave a procedure for the political parties to complain, which includes sending an email and all of those things. But for the ordinary person, what is the procedure for complaining? Secondly, I noticed that on the form that is going to be used for the complaint, you indicated that the person making the complaint must indicate his status in the party. So what if I find a problem and I'm not affiliated to any political party? Must I necessarily belong to a party before I can send an email and complain? So that's my first question. Now, the second one has to do with the just recent demonstration you did. You see, we are querying the system with our mobile phones and the short code. Not everyone will have the benefit of the background database that you have. So if I query the system and my ID card has been revoked and a new one has been issued, I think that the best thing would be for the system to say that maybe this ID has been revoked or something. But if it returns with a different name, it raises suspicions. And I believe you have to satisfactorily answer that part well, because by presenting the background data, which only you are privileged to, it doesn't help the general public who are seeking to find out whether their names are there correctly or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Doc want to respond on that.
Hello?
Thank you once again for the question. I think the whole essence of the exhibition is for us to pick up some of these things. Because, like I said, this thing happened in 2020. And all those duplicate IDs were printed and sent out there. And indeed, I think resources, once again, was assigned to call the individuals to come and pick up their ID cards. Some people did come for them, some didn't. So if you have a voter ID card and you check, and somebody's details comes back, different from what you expect, in the message it says that if there's any problem with it, contact your district electoral officer. And once you do that, the issue will be resolved, because then we have access to all these tools that we can use to retrieve your information and tell you what your voter ID card is. And indeed, I believe that those printed voter ID cards, some of them are still in the district offices. So we might actually even pick it up and give you your new voter ID card. All right, so the form that was designed for the political parties, so that the political parties can return any comments that they have. It wasn't designed for individuals, but individuals can still report anything to your district electoral officer and it will be addressed. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you. MPP.
Thank you very much. On the earlier protocols, as submitted by Chairman Peter McMahon, I think the submission we've seen here today put to rest once again